Truth, justice, and the Big Sil's way, baby. The NFL team that just keeps on giving. Your Philadelphia Eagles. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. NFL news, divisional round of pro football this week, and the carousel turns in Philly. What's next? What is next? Hey, Kevin Patullo's gone. But is your cancer in your offense gone? Ask yourself that. So you change doctors. Do you still have the cancer in your offense? Sills, I still got cancer. I just changed doctors. I mean, right? What are you doing here? I just changed doctors. I don't like my doctor. The doctor gave me a wrong diagnosis. Okay, get another doctor. I still got the disease in the offense. Nothing's changed. What do you think you're changing here? Direction? Different procedures? You got the same disease. A limited quarterback and a coach who knows it. What are we doing? Why are some of you in denial? And it's not a river in Egypt. Why are some of you in denial on this? Oh my God. It's been 5 long years of people telling me bullshit about Jalen Hurts and the head coach. Sills, they win a lot. You're damn right. They win because of that exceptional talent on your team. I'll tell you where I was wrong in covering your football team. You know where I was wrong? Howie. I'm not wrong on Nick and Jalen. It's Howie. Howie is worth every single cent you pay him. Nick is replaceable. Hurts should be replaced, but you can't because you pigeonholed yourself with that contract in the no trade. So the debate on whether to get off for Hurts or not is not a conversation. You notice I don't ever bring that topic up. Should the Eagles move off of Jalen Hurts? Have you ever, with all of the thousands of topics that I've brought up, have you ever heard me bring that topic up? Never. You've never heard me do that. Why? Because it's not reasonable. And it's not possible. Not for another 2 years. Why even talk about it? Clutch Sports has the Eagles by the short hairs. Not going anywhere. They remember when I said they control the destiny of Jalen Hurts. The Eagles don't. They don't control the destiny. Hurts and Clutch Sports does. I'd like to move off of Hurts. How? When? You going to buy back the no trade? Okay, well, that's going to come with a pretty penny. You're not doing anything. And then to sit here and say, on January 14th, you really want me to sit here and go like this? Well, the new OC. Oh, my God. And I'm watching Birds 365. Some of you folks are as dumb as a microphone stand. You're dumb. Jalen Hurts cannot run Kyle Shanahan's office. He cannot run that offense. No way, no how. He can't run Sean McVay's offense. No way, no how. You know why? That's a complex offense. He's a non-complex quarterback. That's okay. What are you thinking? Running a complex offense. Show me anywhere in 6 years he ran one. What is Jalen's cap hit after 26? Does it matter? No trade. You are not listening, my friend. No trade. You can ask all the cap hits. How much dead cap money? What do you think if we do? You don't have control of your destiny with the quarterback. You have no control. That guy has complete control of his future. I say that no trade is one of the greatest contracts in the NFL right now for a player because the organization can do nothing about it. No trade clause. Unless you want to take a massive, massive cap hit. End of story. Who's the next OC? You've got to be kidding me. Does it matter? As long as Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are your coach and your quarterback, stop asking the most idiotic question that has come out of Monday and this week and really out of Sunday's loss against the Niners. It's the dumbest question you could keep asking yourself. Who's the next OC? What does it matter? Do you really believe that those two guys are going to modify anything? Absolutely not. You know why? You know what they're going to do? They're going to blame injuries and a shitty coordinator because they believe they have the roster. Because Howie believes he has the roster. What are you doing here? You're in Greg Roman? Greg Roman would have to conform to Nick's style of play. It's a shitty job. Sills, what type of offense does Reich like to run? Also, it's not economically sound to bench Hurts. What does Frank want to run? Frank's going to run what the quarterback can do, like Kellen did and like Kevin Patullo did. You're missing it. Those coaches are going to change because of the quarterback skill set. They're going to conform an offense and make an offense for that quarterback to fit that. You're not going to hire a high-octane offensive coordinator, bring him in, and change Jalen Hurts. You're stuck with that style of play. Nick Saban knew it. He moved off that and went with Tua. Why? Because Tua could get the ball to his star wideouts. Plain and simple. Is Tua more of a winner? No. Is Tua a better athlete? No. Does Tua know how to read defenses? Yes. Does Jalen Hurts? No. End of story. Why are you making this more complex than it really isn't? Why are you going on that lane? Here, let me start here. And I'm going to make this comment here. By the way, Battle Royale will be with us at 4:30. Big Z will be with us. That'll be at 3:30. Please hit the like button. Supers, you guys have been great the last couple days. Keep them coming. Thank you very much. Just because the player is paid doesn't mean he has to play. If Hurts refuses to use his legs, sit his ass. Dickerson and Juergens are cooked. Bro, so you're going to put $51 million on the bench? Not in the NFL. You pay him, you play him. You pay him, you play him. That's the rule. That's the rule. Here, let me go here. The next OC that the Philadelphia Eagles hire will tell you all you need to know about the coach and the quarterback. They'll tell you all they need to know. You're going to hear this in the offseason. Offense has changed. We're going to spread it out. You're going to have that idiot ESP telling you the football doesn't hit the ground. The greatest quarterback, I can't believe how Hurts looked. That Elliot Spitzer guy or Elliot Shore Parks guy was telling me Jalen Hurts was like the next John Elway in practice every year. Now we're talking about issues with the quarterback. I thought you had these superstar charts of practices where there are A pluses and A minuses, and all that shit was bullshit. All that stuff was propaganda. All that stuff was phony fake news. All fake news. Here you are. The reality check is here. I told you this 5 years ago. You would be here. Here you are. 5 years it's taken to get here. 5 years I've been saying this. 5 years of a ton of shit. And it was masked by Barkley's tremendous season and Hurts playing 120 minutes of great football. That's all he played last year. Bryce Huff and Bradbury was benched. Bench his ass. Yeah, that's different. A defensive edge rusher and your starting quarterback, the face. Wait a minute. The face of Jordan. Wait a minute. You're gonna bench the face of Jordan. The face of Jordan. That's what I'm told. The face of Jordan. The Jordan brand. There he is. The OC killer. Fangio sat at $20 million on the bench. You really think Fangio did? Howie had to give the blessing on that too, by the way. Fangio did bench him. 20 million, 51 million. Face of a franchise, quarterback versus an edge rusher? Come on, man. Everything you're going to need to know about your quarterback and coach will be hired in the next OC. This time, I'm assuming, because Eagle fans are smart, unless you're M. Reyes, you're going to not be bullshitted this time. And you're going to go, same old, same old. Main thing's the main thing. Eagles won't have AJ next season. Try moving on. Hey, that'll be good. Let me take on $40 million in cap hit. Let me lessen my talent on my offense. Let me bring somebody else that's a lesser talent in to hurt my offense, and I'm going to take on more money. Yeah, that sounds like a smart business practice. 3 inflicted wounds with 1 move. You really want to do that? Good luck. You'll be under 526. And Devontae Smith is not a number 1. And Howie doesn't know how to draft receivers. Hang on for a second. Black Pope, you put Devontae Smith in Kansas City, Devontae Smith is a number 1. You put Devontae Smith in Philadelphia, he's the number 2. Plain and simple. He's a number 2. 17 ball games. 58 yards is all you need for $1,000 a game. You think that's elite? Seals replacing Hurts is no longer a question. It's when. They're not moving off that dude, man. Even with, get this, even with an 11-win season, they're going to go like this. Wait a minute. All right, we had some issues this year on the football team. They're not going to panic. Because the last 5 years, they're looking at the last 5 years, not the last 5 minutes, like most of you in the moment. Huss, you know what the problem is right now? You're in the moment. And you think all these changes are going to be made. They made a stupid fire. Kevin Patullo's irrelevant. And because the emotions of not being in the playoffs this weekend, you're caught up in the moment. You need to think clearer. You need to have a little bit more patience in this, because here's what's going to happen. And I'm going to say it again to you guys. What you guys don't want to hear is this. They're not changing. Why in God's name would they change? Why would they change? You can't get off the quarterback. You can't get off the wideout. You're pigeonholed in 2 contracts you hate right now, maybe. Cam Jurgens and Dickerson. What do you think you're doing? Like, seriously, what do you think you're going to do? Anything different? What can the quarterback do? You're going to find out every single thing you need to know. Here, my second topic. Firing an OC does what for 26? Does what? What does firing the OC do for the 2026 Eagles? Tell me. Make the quarterback better? No. Make the passing game better? No. Ask yourself this. What has firing Kevin Patullo done to improve the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles? What has it done? Except going back to square one. Or wait a minute. Doesn't go back to square one because it lands on Nick's desk. You guys are just thinking in the micro. The macro is it's Nick. I will agree with one thing that I heard Zander and John McMullen say. Isn't that a sign of great coaching? Folks, it is. Nick knows he's limited, so Nick has a limited offense. When the OC comes in, the new one, he's going to tell him this is what the QB can and can't do. Same thing he told Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore built an offense that was limited. Ran the ball, threw the ball 361 times, and that's it. Can you imagine this? When the new coordinator comes in, Nick's going to give him a profile of Jalen Hurts, what he can and can't do. You want to know that, right? And they're going to formulate an offensive game plan the same way. Do you think all of a sudden they're going to reinvent the wheel? I don't care if he's $50 million. He is in the way of a Super Bowl. And Drew Brent's for Brady. Tanner's going to move that ball with the ones if he had it and doesn't have to work with the backups. John, of course he's going to be a better player when you got better players around you. Tom Brady was moved in. Tom Brady has a skill set of throwing the ball from the pocket. Hurts doesn't. Stop thinking that Hurts is going to be a pocket passer. Let me ask you something. Let's ask the most important question about Jalen Hurts' skill set. If Jalen Hurts doesn't run, can he win a Super Bowl? And if you don't have a run game, can he win a Super Bowl? Do you think the quarterback in Philadelphia can win a Super Bowl if he doesn't run and you don't have a run game? Ask yourself. No run game and he doesn't run. Can you win a Super Bowl with that quarterback? No way. Not a chance in hell. Where has he ever shown that? He didn't run this year. Your offense had a mediocre run game, and he got bounced by the worst team in the playoffs. Where in the world did you see this? Where the quarterback didn't run, and you had a mediocre run game. Remember something you forget all the time about 2022. Miles Sanders had the fourth best rushing attack in Philadelphia Eagle history with nearly 1,300 yards rushing. Okay? That was a top 5 performance that year by a running back that got you to the Super Bowl. And what else was significant? Hurts ran for like 600 yards that year, or north of 600 yards. Kyle, do me a favor. How many yards did Jalen Hurts run for in 2022? You know why he didn't have to run a lot last year? Because Barkley picked up the load on that. Nothing is going to change. Greg Roman. I hear these candidates. Here. How many people believe this? If you're an offensive coordinator and you're trying, that's not what I said. Miles Sanders had one of the best rushing seasons in Eagle history in 22. Hurts ran the ball for 760 yards. In 2022, thank you, Kyle, 240 yards. Imagine if he played those final games, he'd have had a grand rushing. Between him and Sanders, they had 25 rushing touchdowns. 25. Correct me if I'm wrong on that number. 25 rushing touchdowns that year between Sanders and Hurts. That's how you got to the Super Bowl in 22. Hurts was a machine running the ball, and you had a great run game. This year, Hurts didn't run the ball, and he didn't have a great run game. He couldn't throw you to a win. Where in the 6 years has he thrown you to wins? I mean, on a weekly basis, that guy's not throwing you to wins. And that's why they went to the NFC title game. Not the point, guy. It's what you did that season. What the hell does where he is now have to do with anything? Get this. Okay? Thanks, man. That's my boy Kyle, man. He's my guy. 32 rushing touchdowns in 22. Is that between Sanders and Jalen Hurts? You had 32 rushing touchdowns in 2022. You had over 700 yards rushing in 22. And in 2025, quarterback don't run. You don't have an epic game. Look where all those 32 rushing touchdowns. 22. I told you after the year. That's the best you'll ever see Hurts. Here, let me go here. So you had 1,300 yards and 760 yards. Let me show you something. Wow, man, you had 2,100 rushing yards. 2,100 rushing yards and 32 touchdowns in 2022. That's where your offense went. And Barkley carried the mail in 24. $2,000 between the quarterback and running back and 32 rushing touchdowns. Evaporated. Quarterback don't run. Not the best run game. You ain't winning shit. And your defense is going to hold up as long as it can like it did this year. You ain't doing shit with a coordinator. What do you think he's going to do? Tell Jalen to run more? Hurts needs to run more to be effective, not less. But you want him to run less. And I'm not saying you guys, but they want him to run less, or he wants to run less. That's not a remedy for winning. Not with his skill set. Jalen Hurts has gone the other way because, not his arm, because he doesn't want to run. Kind of Donovan McNabb-ish. Donovan McNabb didn't want to run. His game went south. Hey, the trends dictate it. Production's gone down the last 2 years because Barkley's in the building. I told you this last year. As long as Saquon Barkley's in the building, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith will all have lesser numbers and lesser production. And it's true. And what Nick's going to do is, I'm going to rely on the talent of the offense. Dude, you win games because you're talented, not because you're well coached. I mean, your talent is by far, would we agree? The talent level on the Philadelphia Eagle offense is superior to the coaching. And when you saw San Francisco, the coaching was superior to the offense if talent in San Francisco. I'm gonna say this again, and I'll ask the question. Your talent in Philly is more talented than your coaching staff. And the coaching staff in San Francisco is more talented than the offensive huddle in the Bay Area. Is that true? Okay. That's why you win. That's why you win, and that's why you beat Kyle Shanahan. That's why you have games against teams like Sean McVay. You're just a more talented team. You're not a better coach team. One thing Nick does do, he's smart. He knows. He knows his personnel. He knows that Hurts is this. He knows Devontae's that. And he knows AJ is who he is. He does know that. And he coaches to that. Basics. Don't let the basics are good when you've got great play. Hey, listen, when I'm in a fist fight with someone and I got a power punch and I'm a more powerful man, and I know every time I hit you, it hurts. Why would I jab you? I'm going to throw haymakers at you until you're knocked out. Which means this. My talent's going to beat you eventually because we're just better. We're just better than you. This year you weren't. For the first time, places let you down. O-line, coaching got exposed offensively. The coaching actually accelerated on the defensive side. The coaching on defense is so good. It's a seamless and smooth operation. I mean, Vic knows how to put the right chemicals and sauce in the sauce. He just knows how to do it, man. It's chunky on the other side. Why? Because Nick's not a very good coordinator. Nick's not a good coordinator. You saw it in the first year. Do you think he got better as a coordinator? Based on what? Don't you get it? It doesn't matter who the coordinator is. Nick's a bad one. That's why he needs all these guys. And when they hire these coordinators, they're not hiring them to get Jalen Hurts better. They're hiring them for Nick. That's why I say to you, everything you need to know about your quarterback and your head coach will be in this hire. You guys are looking for powerhouse swings. And, bro, they're not going to bring a powerhouse OC in unless he's been fired like Kellen Moore was. You guys are out of your minds if this direction is changing. The only way you change direction is what they did in Baltimore. They fired John Harbaugh. They fired a guy with 180 wins because they wanted to change the direction. And they sided with the quarterback because the quarterback's younger. They got away from the RPO system, and the offensive line dropped off in the last 2 years after Kelsey retired as well. Why do you think they got away from RPO? They got away from RPO, one, because Nick doesn't know how to coach RPO. Show me anywhere in Nick Sirianni's resume where he coached an RPO guy. Please show me. Show me where he was an RPO guy. I coached Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck. I mean, they're going to hire a guy who Nick can work with, not make Jalen better. Hey, you guys are not wrong to think normal and like right and go, well, Sills, don't they want to hire somebody to benefit the quarterback more than the coach? You would think, but that's not how they operate. Here, in the last 3 years, you've hired two guys that never called plays. Where's that? And they did it again. How did you get there? Listen what I just said. In the last 3 years, you hired coordinators that had never called plays before in their entire careers. Okay? Yeah, because remember what happened in the first start of the 2021 year? Nick was running some spread-ass offense. What were you guys, 2-4? Then they grabbed the play calling. I remember Zander Krauss before he put me on the air for a particular show. You think Nick survives the year? He said that. He goes, you think Nick survives the... That's what people were saying in Philly. Then it turned around. You went on some, like, you won 6-8 or some shit. See if I can get this up here. Let's be honest. Hurts hasn't done nothing since 22. He fooled you all in the Super Bowl. He had 127 yards in tush-push game. Was already over 24-0 because of the defense. Hey, John, Jalen Hurts is not a shitty quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. He's not. But I told you this. You don't have to be an elite guy to get to the game and win it. Non-elite guys have gone to the game and won it. Nick Foles is not elite. Jeff Hostetler's not elite. Jim Plunkett's not elite. I mean, Joe Flacco's not elite. Pretty good, though. These guys aren't elite. They're not elite. They won. Shit, Plunkett's got 2 and an MVP. You don't have to be elite to win the Super Bowl. You don't even have to be elite to get there. Jake Delhomme got there. You just don't. Sills, I respect you, bro. Why in hell would Laurie allow Nick's hands near the offense? He pays too much money, and candidates will be interviewing Howie to see how much autonomy they will have. Yeah, that'll be the holdup on bringing who you want in. Is it going to be my offense, or do I have to conform to Nick? Listen, any offensive coordinator. Here, let me bring this topic up. What do you think is a better OC job for a coordinator? The Charger OC job or the Eagle OC job? If a guy wants to become a head football coach in the NFL and in the passing game league, who do you think would think the better job is? The Charger job, because the quarterback can do more. Yes, he was. Then he got fired in New England. He got fired in San Francisco. And the Raiders picked him off the scrap heap. Yeah. Eagles have more talent. Eagles have more talent. But you're not allowed to use that talent. Okay? You know, and I knew this would be something to say because you're all under the impression you think your quarterback is more talented than Justin Herbert because he won a Super Bowl in his playoff record. Well, Justin Herbert plays for the Spanoses, not Jeffrey Lurie. They couldn't put Phillip Rivers and Dan Fouts into the Super Bowl because of how cheap they are. So, organizationally, they have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. One is in, and Phillip Rivers is going in one day. And you got another talent now in Herbert. To sit there and say the Spanoses are going to put him in a quarter. Right. The one guy that wasn't elite was Stan Humphries. Because they had a good roster that year. Then they got destroyed in the Super Bowl by the Niners. Dude, get this. You want to see? I heard Birds 365 today. You want to hear something absolutely asinine? Watch this. How many people think that Jalen Hurts is more talented than Justin Herbert? I told you this would catch you. You know why? Your quarterback throws for 50 yards or 60 yards in a playoff, and he can get away with it. These other quarterbacks can't get away with it. This weekend, if Josh Allen throws for 100 yards and runs the ball for 20 yards, they're going to lose. Hurts could throw for 90 yards, and they can win the game because they have superior talent. How many people believe that Jalen Hurts is a more talented quarterback than Justin Herbert? Herbert is more talented, but talent means nothing. Correct. When you don't have a team around you, you're not going anywhere. Agreed. Only a Jalenite would say Jalen. Of course they would say that. How come they don't run the offense that Justin? By the way, Justin Herbert is 3-1 against the Eagles. Okay? So get this. Let's show you, again, I'll show you what and how some people think. You always have jack shit to say when we bring up the Super Bowl win. I think it's a great moment for him. Okay, I do. But what's the fucking point of this league if you're not to win a Super Bowl? What's that? How is that on Jalen Hurts? It's a team accomplishment. It's not a Jalen Hurts accomplishment. And just because you win a Super Bowl doesn't mean you're the better player. So are you under the impression because Brandon Graham has won 2 Super Bowls, he's a better player than Myles Garrett? Because Myles Garrett doesn't have a Super Bowl ring? Who in their right mind would think that? And Reyes would. And Reyes, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Is Brandon Graham a better player than Myles Garrett? I'm curious. Do you think that? Because he's got 2 Super Bowl rings? Because he's been there and he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Is he a better player than Myles Garrett? Yes or no? You think he's a better player? Okay? Is he a better football player? No. Just answer the question. Do you think he's a better player? Yes or no? Brandon Graham. He's got 2 rings. Yes or no? Is Brandon Graham better than Myles Garrett in your eyes? Yeah, get him. Get him, Reyes. Do you believe that Myles Garrett is a lesser player? He's not in the same position? So you pick and choose positions. Because if a guy wins a Super Bowl and he's part of a ride and he's a caboose and he's carried to the Super Bowl and he plays 60 minutes of football and they win the game, you're under the assumption Trent Dilfer is better than Dan Marino because Dan Marino hadn't won a Super Bowl? Folks, he thinks Dan Marino is not as good as Dilfer because Dilfer's won a Super Bowl and Marino hasn't. Right? So wait a minute. He's not better than Myles, but Myles isn't playing 6 reps a game. What do you mean 6 reps a game? Bro, Jalen Hurts is a good player. He's not better than Justin Herbert in talent. Most people don't see it that way. They think because you're on a football team, everything is equal. Put Jalen Hurts on that Buffalo Bills team, they win 6 games with that quarterback's noodle arm. He wins with, you really think? First off, the Buffalo Bills wouldn't have a talent like that in Buffalo because they're not going to play a guy like Jalen Hurts. They'd win 3 games with Hurts in Buffalo. I'm convinced that Josh Allen could take that Jets team to 10 wins. That's how good that dude is. Okay? Justin Herbert's a better player, but he also has been on really great teams. Justin Herbert has been on great teams in Los Angeles. Really? He's been on great teams with Brandon Staley as his head coach. Brandon Staley, who was going for it on 4th down on his own 25 in Minnesota. Brandon Staley. Really? Okay. Get this. That's an organizational thing, bro. Jalen Hurts is not talented, any one of those guys. Why are you getting coordinators fired every other year? Why? Bro, keep praising the kid. Don't worry. Everyone knows where it is now. Everyone knows it. But see, there's guys like Reyes who believe that if you put Kyle Shanahan's offense, okay, here. Let's go here. Prince, I think, listen, you and me go back and forth, and I really like that you're back here with us, and I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm going to ask you something, Prince. Do you think you could take the offensive mind of Kyle Shanahan and he would take that offense, and do you believe Jalen Hurts can run that San Francisco offense? Do you believe he could run it? By the way, you know who would be the best coach for Jalen Hurts? Ben Johnson. Because he's going to take the guy's skill set. And you know what you're missing? You know why you're never going to get Jalen to get where? Hey, Prince, you know why you're never going to get Jalen to get where you want him to go again? Your head football coach is not a play-calling head coach. Ben Johnson's got the autonomy to change. He's not running Jared Goff's offense in Chicago. He's running the Caleb Williams offense in Chicago. All the shit that Caleb does off script and off schedule stuff, all of that, he takes advantage of it. He takes advantage of his mobility. If you look at his accuracy, let's take a look at this. Check this out. I want to show you something that's significant in the coaching of Caleb Williams. And this will tell you all you need to know about coaching. Okay? Check this out. So let's go to Chicago here and take a look at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, okay? This year, go here. Bear with me here. Caleb Williams. I'll show you something. And this goes right down to what I'm saying about a coordinator skill set. Caleb Williams this year, if I told you this, a quarterback this year was less than 60% in completion percentage, would you be shocked they won 13 ball games? Yes or no? Would you be shocked? Counting the playoffs. If I told you a quarterback was less than 60% in completion percentage, would you be shocked that they'd won 13 games? Well, they did. Caleb Williams is barely 550% in his passing. What does that tell you? The coach knows how to use them. The coach knows how to use that off-scheduled shit. So makes him a great coach. That coach is the perfect coach for Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. Any other guy is a waste of time. 58%. This guy's a tick above 50% in completions in any ball game. And they won 13 games this year, counting the playoffs. And beat you. How? There's a savant in Chicago that knows how to quarterback and knows how to use the quarterback to the best skill set. You got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and you can't do shit with them. That tells you about Nick, and that tells you about Jalen. I mean, DK Moore is a good player. Odunze is a good player. Those guys aren't Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. You think? Really? Or how about the Turtles that you had up in San Francisco that you just got beat by? That's on the coach. That's on the coach, and that's on the people being hired to bring Jalen Hurts' coach and teach him the game. So if you're going to keep Nick's style of play, it's caught you. You're not going to be better in 26. If you keep with the style of play, you won't make the playoffs. And I'll make that prediction. You stick with that style of play and what you're doing now, you won't make the playoffs. You almost had 2 4,000-yard passings back-to-back as well. That's an incredible job he's done. We want Dable. Well, ask yourself this, Fly Eagle Fly. So Brian Dable almost got Jackson Dart murdered. What did he do with Daniel Jones? I'm watching Shane Steichen know what to do with a dual threat guy. So you're going to bring him in? Okay. You know why Brian Dable would be a good hire? Because that's the style of play Nick wants to play. That's why he'd be a good hire. Brian Dable would be a great hire. They don't care if they get their... But here's the one thing, too. You're going to bring Brian Dable in? Help me out here. Didn't he run Jackson Dart? Why would Jalen Hurts want to have a Jackson Dart style of offense when he doesn't want to run the ball anymore? How does that make sense? Hurts doesn't want to run the ball. You hiring him for Nick or for Hurts? Caleb Williams, that is 58%. They won 13 games. 13 ball games. That's coaching. That's coaching at its finest. Hey, you want to watch a football game this weekend? Watch Ben Johnson and Sean McVay this weekend. Whew. You want a lesson on moving the sticks? You want a lesson on how quarterbacks should be used? Watch that ball game. That's going to be, that's going to be a page where it's like a course at Harvard on how to be an offensive-minded guy. You're going to see some of the greatest designs in your entire life in that game in Chicago this weekend. Ben Johnson and Sean McVay. Incredible. Guys, hit the like button. Appreciate your supers. Thank you. No one has tried developing Hurts because Nick can't. You hire I even bitched about Kellen Moore you hired a passing coordinator guy in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore had to take his passing playbook. And you know what Kellen Moore had to do? Kellen Moore had to take his passing playbook last year and do this. We're running the ball. We're running the ball. My quarterback's not good enough. We got to run the ball. And the key was your O-line was still intact and they were awesome. Okay? Get this. No. You can bench Hurts and force him to get out of the no trade. Boy, that'll make a great environment. Forcing your quarterback to the bench. What are you giving up 26 already? You might as well take the flamethrower and just torture 26 season before it even starts. Is that the shit you really want to do? Bro, when you have something in your room and you have no other option, you got to make it work. You got to be a problem-solving head coach. You just can't scream to Howie and say, fix it. Hey, fix it, Howie. Kyle Shanahan fixed this problem. Tomato cans on defense with Robert Saleh and bullshit wide receivers on offense. They made it work. They're not hiring and crying to John Lynch. They made it work. You mean to tell me if everything's not perfect, you can't make it work? Well, shit, that's an indictment on your quarterback and your coach. I don't know what the hell else to say here. Kevin Patullo being fired is the dumbest takes this week from everybody. I'm listening. I'm listening to IP, and I'm like, Kevin Patullo. And they don't even want to fire him because they know he's the fall dude for no reason. They ran the same playbook as 24. The problem was they're going to say that player production was off. It was. That tells you they win in spite of the coaching. If the players don't excel, the coaching's not good enough on offense to carry you home. That was exposed this year. Do you not see that? Talent and the production was down by players this year, okay? So the coaching had no answers like we saw in San Francisco. That's why I asked you. The coaching in San Francisco and the lack of talent they had on both sides of the ball compared nothing to the Philadelphia Eagles offense, right? How'd they win? They had answers. You don't. And if you want to get an answer, you ask Howie to help. End of story. I'm not sure what else to tell you here. Okay? Here, it's Patullo's job to come up with answers, and he failed. No shit, he failed, dude. He's never done it. Why'd you hire him? Why'd you hire a guy who you don't know even had answers to? Why'd you hire him? Why did you hire a guy who's never called a play in his life? And he's had buddy jobs. Why? And he was passed over freaking twice in the building. Period. Why? Why'd you hire him? Day one, I said that. Okay? What's this? Then don't be mad we fired him. I'm not mad. I don't give a shit if you fired him or you kept him. It's irrelevant. Asshole. It's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Whether you fired him or hired him. It's Nick and Jalen. It doesn't matter who the next coordinator is. Greg Roman. Brian Dable. All rehabilitation guys like Kellen Moore. Sure, bring him in. Nick's going to sit him down and read him the riot act. You ain't making any changes offensively. When it comes to coaches that we're not going to handpick ourselves. And if you want the job, here's the job. How many times has Frank Reich told you, if you want to work in Philadelphia, you got to know the power structure. And that's why Nick is great. John McMullen's article is correct. Nick knows how to play the politics and is willing to. Most importantly, he's willing to. Most coaches aren't willing to part ways. Hey, you know why they fired John Harbaugh on the phone and not really all that bullshit they said? They sat down with an hour and a half and had massive They fired him over the phone because they just wanted to cut bait and move on and start something new. Okay, no problem. But that's how you do it in Baltimore. You know, Baltimore did it right. You want to get off a legendary coach? Fire him and everyone in the building. There you go. That's starting anew. And the Ravens are a great organization. Are you under the impression that you've got more Super Bowls than they do? Last I checked, they got 2 also. Limited quarterback, limited coach. And superior talent. Add that. 2 guys that ride the short bus no matter. That's right. Okay? No matter they've become such close buds. Hey, listen, Mikey. The quarterback's limited and the coach is limited. How many people think Nick Sirianni's a great play caller? Based on fucking what? That talent is so good. That's why if you're Howie, did I break that down? Howie's got to be doing this. I think that's a Super Bowl. How about this? Don't you agree? I do. I think your talent compared to everybody else in the playoffs. Do I see anybody else with a higher roster? I don't know, maybe Seattle? Maybe Seattle. Oh, and by the way, Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl. Are you going to call him elite? Like some of you call Hurts? Are you? I pray to God Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl. Because he ain't going to have to call him elite. Everybody. You call Hurts elite because he's got one. Are you going to call Sam Darnold elite? He throws for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game, and he wins that ball game. Say he plays against Bo Nix in the Broncos or Drake May, whomever. You know what the perfect Super Bowl is, don't you? You're not going to call him elite. Oh, so winning a Super Bowl doesn't make you elite, even though he's thrown for 8,200 yards the last year and 60 touchdowns. He's not elite. Okay. And he's 28-6 in 2 years. And if he wins a Super Bowl, he's not elite. That's not elite winning. 28-6, Super Bowl win, maybe a Super Bowl MVP. You're not calling Sam Darnold elite. Interesting. That's correct. They want Rams and Bills. You know why? They want Stafford and Allen. That's the marquee Super Bowl they want, is that right there. Allen, the up-and-coming stud already, and Stafford, the superstar player that's going to ride himself into Canton. Okay? I bet people would give Sam Darnold more credit than Hurts. Absolutely they will. Why wouldn't you? You get fired in New York. You have to overcome that shit mess. You're playing defensive end for the Carolina Panthers with Baker Mayfield 2 years later and scout team. You go to San Francisco and you sit behind Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. And then you persevere and you overcome and you go to Minnesota. You resurrect your career. You have 2 shit games at the end. And then you turn around and you lead your Super Bowl, lead another team to 14 wins and a Super Bowl and potentially a Super Bowl MVP. You bet your fucking ass he went through adversity more than Hurts did. You bet he gets more credit. You bet he does. You bet. That's a journey. That's not landing in a honeypot. That's being told, oh, by the way, this will go down as the greatest Jets disaster. You had Joe Namath in the building. If he wins the Super Bowl, you had Joe Namath in the building, and you let him go to Seattle. It's on you, Woody. So many great things. You had the next Joe Namath. Funny, he's playing in Seattle now, not New York. And you look at the Jets as being one of the worst organizations. They're already. That'd be a dagger in the hearts of all them Jet fans. You can bang your head like Fireman Ed for the next 30 years looking for the guy. You had the guy in the building. You didn't even know it. Shitty coaching. Shitty ownership. Shitty GMing. All of it. All on display. Shows you when you go to a place, and you guys won't even admit it. Guy wins the Super Bowl, goes through all that, and you won't call him elite. But you'll call Hurts elite with his limited skills. Okay, fair enough. Talk about glasses being fogged. Give me a break. I mean, really. Calling Sam Darnold elite will make you, like, gag. Me too. Did Sirianni steal Hurts from AJ? Is that it? Did Sirianni steal Hurts from AJ? I think I get what you're saying. Did he bring him over to his side and management side and approach and get away from the players? I think AJ Brown represents the players. I think Hurts represents the front office. There's 2 politicians that play in Philly, and it ain't your shitty mayor. It's Jalen Hurts and Sirianni. Okay? Those are your 2. Okay? Here. Watch this. How many rings does Shanahan and Saleh have? Glazed donut for dudes who have never popped their cherry in the NFL. So you're under the impression you think Nick Sirianni is a better coach than Kyle Shanahan? And you think, again, that Robert Saleh beating your team with all your talent. Shanahan, and by the way, they're 3-1 against you. I don't know, since 2021, they don't have a problem with you. I mean, every time they line up against the Eagles, they beat them. Every time Herbert lines up against the Eagles, they beat him. Why? Better coaching. Oh, no, but they're better. If coaches being hired that aren't smart enough to adjust, then that's on the organization. Okay? Laurie or Howie might get and elevate right players, maybe can evaluate coaches. I don't think they do a bad job on the defensive side. Look at you have the best coaching staff in football on the defensive side. You know why? Vic gets to hire his guys. Vic brought in Clint Hurt. He brought in Bobby King, Christian Parker. All these guys. These are Vic dudes. Who Vic wanted to work with. Okay, those are Vic's dudes. The people that you hire for offense, those are Nick's dudes. Sills, listening to Jason Avant talk about how the Niners played Jalen in cover 4 in the last 10 plays. Daring Hurts to throw was painful. Yeah. Yeah. They wanted him to throw the ball. Robert Saleh wanted him to throw the ball. I thought Jalen was going to run it in. Okay? Who said Robert Saleh was a great head coach? Once again, missed the point. Then what's the problem with not allowing that on offense? I don't know. You need to ask Howie that in the next presser. Why can't the next OC hire his own people? Because it's a slap in the face to Nick. They don't want to insult Nick. Because if you bring somebody like Kevin Stefanski in, makes Nick completely irrelevant. Head coach has got to work with somebody? Really? Seals, you won't be talking crap anymore once this new OC has full autonomy and Jalen and the whole team ball out next year. I hope you're right. Hope. That's your strategy? Good luck. Hope you ball out. Hope. Like I hope you have a hope chest. Alfredo, I hope the O-line gets healthier. I hope Saquon Barkley's good. I hope the new OC works. I hope we do well in free agency. I hope. I get it. Congratulations to you. A lot of hoping. Jalen missed opportunities in that last drive to run the ball or pass it to Smitty. You can't see the field well at times. Of course you can't, because you can't throw it across the middle of the field. Hit the like button, guys. Big Z's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We got Battle Royale today. We're just humming along. Appreciate you guys. Sills, here's what I pull from Darnold's recent success. When a QB is paired with an OC that runs the system that complements their skills, things can change quickly. Philly doesn't seem to get – that's right. Philly doesn't seem to get that. Correct. They're going the other way with Hurts. Instead of going – listen, I'm going to make one more statement here on Jalen. You coach him right, you're going to win a lot more. You keep coaching him the way you're coaching him under Nick's way, Lee caught up with him. Risk averse. He even won the freaking turnover battle against a shitty – you know what? I'll tell you this. If you had lost to the Seahawks, I'd have went like this, like that. Well, hey, sometimes you just lose ball games. You lost to a shitty 49er team. Hey, 49er guy, if you're in here, that's the shittiest 49er team they've had in 4 years. Am I right? But it's the best coaching job that Shanahan has done in 4 years. Even a Super Bowl run. That's Shanahan's best coaching job. I mean, this guy completely had answers to everything. He had answers to the 2 turnovers by Purdy. Shanahan will choke when it matters. Well, I'll tell you, every time they play against you, they beat you. I mean, he's 3-1 against you. I mean, that's a shitty Niner team. Hey, wait a minute. Are you under the impression they're going to go to Seattle and beat Seattle up there? Not a chance. And you know what you'll be saying? Shanahan couldn't get it done. Seattle's a better team. That's why they're the number 1 seed. They're the better football team. They should win. No, but he sucks. He's not good. And see, well, what's that say about you if you got beat by a 10? If Seattle beats that team 46-0 or 46-3 and they crush that team, you're going to have a lot more answers on Monday. I don't believe in any way 49ers hanging that ball game. Then again, it's a well-coached team. Diana Rossini just reported we started reaching out to candidates now, and McDaniels and Dable are at the top of the list. Like Mike McDaniels coached Tagovailoa to having the most passing yards in pro football. Oh, man. Okay. And some of you really believe that Hurts is some sort of passing savant. It's crazy funny. Brian Dable makes sense. It does. Mike McDaniels coaching Jalen Hurts. He'll be doing the same thing Kellen Moore did. He'll be running the ball 290 times. Oh, man. Jalen Hurts is automatically going to turn into Justin Herbert, or I'm not making fun of you guys. Just, it's classic to hear this. Hey, it's like getting married. Not every chick's perfect. Okay? Not every partner's perfect. It's like doing talk shows. Put a guy in a room with a guy. But Zander and I do like our segment. It's a great combo. I like him. You know how many people, like, I used to go like, I don't work with people like that on my programs. I did it once. I had one guy, Rod Brooks, San Francisco, I did it with. I loved him. He was great. He was an entertainer. He got it. Other than that, I'd never work with anybody else in my program. Are you fucking crazy? I put Zander on an hour and a half. I've never done that in my entire 35 years. Why? Most of them blow. I'm not putting somebody next to me. Are you crazy for what? Hey, look, if I'm going to hit the Titanic, I'm doing it. I'm not going to have him hit it for me. People who don't think coaching doesn't matter are idiots. There's a prime example of that. Coaching matters. That's why we lost twice. Okay? Marriage is overrated in America. Maybe back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Marriage is good, not now in America. Well, I've been married to my old lady for 30 years, 39 years, 37 years. I'm good with it. Chick's my best friend. My wife's my best friend. I don't trust anybody more than her. Nobody. And my aunt, I put her in there too with my wife. My wife, though, never in a million years would I not trust her. She's got my best interests at heart. Even when she does give me shit and I tell her to shut the hell up, she tells me to kiss my ass too. So, it's a wonderful love relationship. You god dang son of a, stupid ass something. I don't know, whatever she calls me. The Steelers aren't getting a better coach than Tomlin this year. Of course they're not. Absolutely. You think you're going to hire a better coach than Mike Tomlin? Like who? Oh, I know. John Harbaugh? Well, I think he'd be all right there. That's a lateral move. There you go, Emras. That's why I know you and I get along. Even though I hate your takes and you hate mine, we got old ladies we love. I'm good with that. Sills says, oh, wife's my best friend guy. Yeah. Love is fleeting, dude. I asked my wife this question 10, 15 years ago. Do you love me? You know, she said, really? And after that, it all went away. She's still here. You don't ask people that you're in the room with for 40 years if you love them. You know by their actions, not by stupid words. This is about pushing content. Obviously, if we get to pushing content, bro, I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's not how I do my show. Hey, let me see what it gets Big Red. You think this gets Big Red's juices going? Ooh, let me get this for here for Big Red. Let me write Big Red down. Hey, Big Red, Big Red, he reacted to that. Content pushing. What the fuck is that? It's like asking me if I have a burner account. A burner account. Me. I got my first set of earbuds today, I think. I have no idea how to use them. None. And this guy, content pushing. Okay. I've never had earbuds in my life. And I'm getting my first set of earbuds today. Totally get them cheap too, because in case I blow it up and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know what earbuds are. I see my kid with them. My kid's going to have to help me connect them. What's it called? Pairing? Okay. Pairing. What? Kellen wouldn't have done shit with it. That's right. If Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator this year, he'd have been fired too. Let me ask you this. But here, I'll take one thing back. Kellen may have had some answers, though, because he had been an experienced coordinator. It would have known situational play calling. And that probably would have helped him more survive and navigate. Okay? I do know what a Walkman is. Mr. Super, we'll get to it, my friend. Don't forget, bottom of the hour, Big Z joins us, and then we have Battle Royale. Sirianni and Dable are on the sidelines together. Big Dom better get a huge raise. Content creator's dream. Sirianni and Dable. Dable going into the blue tent, telling Jalen to get his ass out, and Nick going over. We could see hands being thrown on the sidelines. Big Dom off the top rope like this guy's Jimmy Snuka, or like he's Reigns coming off the top rope. You see, all of a sudden AJ comes in with a hammer. Then you see Lane coming in, dropping it. That'd be great on the sidelines of the Eagles this year. I don't know how many games you guys are going to win, but there's going to be some shit if you bring Brian Dable and put that dude on the sidelines. Hey, I benched the kid's ass before for Tagovailoa. We need to bench him again for Sam Howell. How you doing? Yeah. And then Big Dom's going to be pushing everybody back and forth. That guy's got more titles than Howie had when he was put in the broom closet. The assistant coach to the passing game coordinator, to the assistant guy on being the doorman, to being the bouncer. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got something for you. I promised a friend of mine on Friday at 5:30 the Eagles, where is it? Here it is. I'll let you know how the Eagles celebrated their loss on Friday when they got beat. Let's see. I want to tell you where it is because you'll know. Hanging out. AJ Brown made a comment to this respected guy. Don't leak it yet. I'll tell you how and where they celebrated. 5:30. They were really upset. And I'll tell you what my boy Cooper was doing too. This will be at 5:30 on Friday. Yeah. By the way, I have confirmation with pictures. So, yeah. So you're confused? You won't be after Friday at 5:30. It honestly never looked like KP and our offensive line coach were on the same page. Remember what Mark Trestman said? Oh, that's what we need to do. I'm going to get Mark Trestman on tomorrow. What kind of offensive coordinator does Jalen Hurts need? Why not get a guy who's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL? Let me see. How many offensive coordinator jobs is Mark? We're going to do that tomorrow. We are going to get Mark Trestman on. How many offensive coordinator jobs did Mark Trestman have in his career? Let's see here. Offensive coordinator Browns, offensive coordinator of the 49ers, offensive coordinator of the Cardinals, offensive coordinator of the Raiders, offensive coordinator of the Ravens. So he's had 5 offensive coordinator jobs. So we'll get him on and see what kind of coordinator. Okay? Mark Trestman stinks. Well, at least he's had jobs that mattered. The guy you hired was a do-boy who get me some donuts. Krellers, too. And I'm a big fan of jelly donuts. Hey, Trestman ain't the one that's just been fired, Junior. Your boy was just fired. I would want the Eagles' job if I'm McDaniels. Really? So you had Tyreek Hill and you had Jalen Waddle. And you were throwing the ball all over the yard. And you don't throw the ball all over the yard. But you think Jalen Hurts can throw the ball all over the yard. That's under the assumption you think that he's a better passer. Nick Saban knew he wasn't. Nick Saban knew it. Come on now, dog. Why are you fighting this? Hire guys to fit the kid, not hire guys for what you want. That's becoming the problem here. You want to hire a guy because you want to see something different. They're not going to do anything different. Hire the guy that fits him, not what you want to see. Hey, I want to see the ball being thrown all over the place like McDaniels did down in Miami. Well, you don't get the quarterback to do that. Well, Sills, then we have to get a new quarterback. Well, you've never heard that here out of this program, and you never will until that moment becomes in 2 years where you could probably do something. Right now, stop. I'm not going to broach that. I'm not going to talk about moving off of Jalen Hurts, and I'm not going to talk about any of replacing the quarterback because it's a non-starting. It's non-starting. Replacing the coach, not this year. At the end of next year, whatever it looks like. Stop talking like that. The constants are still there. Hurts and Sirianni. They're not going to change no matter who you bring in. It's just not going to change. Will there be some nuances based on health of the team? The only thing that will change in Philly next year is if Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens come back to form, and then so does Barkley. Let me ask you this. You think Barkley's finished? Barkley, you know what it looked like to me? Barkley didn't want to get hit this year. It just looked like he didn't want to get hit. I watched Tank run. Tank didn't care. He had a young guy's mentality and a young body mentality. It just looked like Barkley didn't want to get hit. I don't know if he's done or if he's done mentally. Here, let me ask you this. You think 638 regular season rushes is a lot. Saquon Barkley in the last 2 years has run the ball for 635 carries. More than any time in his career. You think that's a lot? 635, not counting the postseason. What are you going to add? Probably adding up, what? Another 120? Let's go here. 735, another 120. So this guy's carried the ball 855 times in 2 years. Excuse me, not 755 times. 755 times in 2 years. You think that's a lot? Yes or no? On a 28-year-old back who in the last 6 years has had 4 knee injuries. No? Most carries any time in his entire career over the last 2 years. 755. Counting postseason. That's a lot of carries. Got to remember the 390 carries he had at Penn State. McCaffrey misses most of next year, I bet you. Damn right. Carries add up for everyone. Whether you're Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Hurts, the only people it doesn't add up to are machines like Adrian Peterson and Derrick Henry. These guys are built for that shit. I mean, Derrick Henry next year, he almost had 1,600 yards this year. He's going to have another 1,500 yards next year. He's going to be 32. That guy, okay? That guy's a machine. Right? That's a lot of carries. Do I think that Barkley's done? We're getting there. That looked like Saquon Barkley, New York Giants. Got an O-line that's not what it was. That looked like the Giants. He didn't look any different. 4-1, 1,000 yards. Well, that's kind of who he is. 2005 was an anomaly. Not the standard. 1,500 yards a year for Henry, that's the standard for him. Different thing, man. Those are different football players. What he did a year ago was like a career year. Henry does that shit every year. Turn, hand, kill. Turn, hand, kill. Turn, hand, kill. I mean, yeah, that's what I saw too. McDaniel or Dable, I'm hearing. Well, this is what will happen when you go in for the interview. You'll do this if you're Mike McDaniel. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do because I want to rehabilitate what happened in Miami so that I can get a next head coaching job, and we'll do whatever it takes. The problem is going in, you're not going in with a healthy offensive line. You're hoping your old line gets healthier. You're hoping Barkley bounces up a little. How much more do you think he's going to bounce up from 1,000 yards? 1,300? 12? Is that going to be enough when your quarterback's not running? No. I pointed out to you, you had 32 touchdowns and 2,100 rushing yards in 22 when Hurts was running. When you had a good running game and your quarterback ran. When the quarterback had an average running game this year and he didn't run, you can't throw yourself to victory. All of you disputed the fact when I said in September, that's Liars Month. We were 7-7 after that. He had an average running game, and he had a below-average passing game. And you couldn't throw yourself to victory against a team like the Niners. And you think an OC is going to change that? The only way the Eagles are going to get better in 26 is if health is restored. Lane's healthy. Cam's back. Landon's back. You know what? I'll tell you this. You got a better chance of that happening than bringing an OC in to change the offense. I would say this to you. Stop with that shit with the OC. Pray your team comes back to health. The Lane Johnsons, the center, the guard. Pray that comes back. Because if that comes back, I don't give a shit who the coordinator is. He'll have success. Health is going to make the team better, not a coordinator. Listen to me again. Health is going to make your team better, not a coordinator. They're going to run the same shit. As long as Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are in the building, it's same old, same old. You got to pray for health. And I believe, get this, I believe that's a better fix than an OC. Don't you? Kevin Patullo would be a head coach. How many people believe this? Kevin Patullo would be a head coaching candidate right now if you had the same health as you did a year ago. Would you agree? Right? He'd be a head coach in the NFL. If your O-line was healthy, he'd have the same guy. Okay? This guy says no. Because you know why? He doesn't want to put it on the quarterback and health. You think it's the OC. The OC is the reason that you lost against San Francisco. Because everything wasn't perfect. Shit, San Francisco had nothing going for it right, offensively and personnel-wise. And they still beat your ass. It's embarrassing. They had no place anywhere on the field except head coach and quarterback. And they beat you with everything that was sideways wrong. Personnel on defense has been depleted. Offensive line outside of Trent Williams, depleted. Kittle went out with 3-4 minutes into the game. They adjusted on the fly and still beat your ass. That was problem solving. So what's the hot take for the OC in Philly? Who cares? That's my headline. Who cares? What's he going to Here, I asked this question earlier. Okay, fire the OC. Does what for 26? What? Anything. I'll take. No wrong. Hey, by the way, now that you're here on January 14th, you ain't playing this weekend. It's not a bad take by any of you. Because now we're in the land of we don't know. Now we're in the land of where we were in the offseason. Your offseason started, unfortunately, in January instead of February. So firing the OC does what, in your opinion? What do you think moving forward? Honestly, I'm not ripping anybody here. I do, damn it. I'm a fan of this team. Martin, I don't mean, listen, I'm not ripping on you, guy. But here, Martin, let me put you back up here. Firing the OC does what for 26, in your opinion? Okay? Hate and glaze? No, it's truth. I don't hate the Eagles. I don't give a shit about the Eagles. Get me wrong, guy. Fun team to cover. I love you guys. But you got me wrong. I don't hate Philly. As a matter of fact, it's the best market I ever talked in. And I'm not making you feel better about yourself so you can go home and whatever. Okay? Well, I'm telling you it's wrong. You can think all you want. Why would I? What's the point? Hating a football team? Dude, I hate jackasses. I don't hate football teams. I mean, you know how many things in my life I hate? That ain't one of them. I love the Bird fans. I do, Sue. Absolutely. I love you more than your team. Absolutely, that's a fact. I love the Philadelphia Eagle fans 10 times more than your team. That's an absolutely number one fact. Hey, some of you in here want to continue to believe that? Appreciate you being in here. Thank you. You must like hearing the truth, at least. We have the players to be damn good in the offense. Yes. But the plays together that fits, hurts his ability, allows to be more of a reason to play shitty. How you doing? New Jersey Fishing Maniac? Correct. There allows to be no reason to play shitty. You're dead on. You got great football players. It's a great roster. Is it better than San Francisco's? Yeah. Is it as good as Chicago's? Yeah. Absolutely. There you go. Problem solving. You know what the problem solving is in Philly? Ask Howie to fix it, not your coach. Coach doesn't fix it. Howie fixes it. Kyle Shanahan, Ben Johnson, all these guys that have turned, you got a 58% completion percentage quarterback in Chicago winning 13 ball games this year. That's problem solving. Huge Army to football, but diehard Eagle fan. Why is Hurts running less and taking away the dual threat? Health, mindset, coaches? Yes. Yes. How do we know Jalen was... Trucker? Okay. Come on. One thing I've come to respect about you, all of you, don't make excuses for failure. Own it. Okay? Trolling. I'm learning what the hell, I'm learning what earbuds are. Yeah. I may even have to ask Z after the show. How the frig do you use earbuds? I have no idea you guys are talking to me about. Ugh. I like Jim Caldwell. That's a pretty damn good name. I like Jim Caldwell. I think Jim Caldwell's a hell of a coach. I do. I like him. He's a good coach. All right. Battle Royale at 4:30. Guys, please hit the like button. You guys have been spectacular today, and you guys have been spectacular because you care about your team. And I told you, and I'm going to say it again. Dude, you guys are the best people I've ever spoken to in sports. All my years. The best. Give me shit. We go back and forth. How you doing? And I'm going to, it's funny how, listen, I do a talk show for 4 hours. And for me, I look at it like, okay, this is the only time I'm ever saying this. Firing Kevin Patullo does what? All right. Without further ado, love talking to my friend. And this segment here, by the way, always does well. Always, always, always. And I told you this before. I don't do this with a lot of folks. I think most people suck that come on with me because I've told you why. And he absolutely loves football, and he loves his Eagles. Without further ado, Buddy's a realist. Our friend, Big Z, Zander Krauss, joins us now.
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother?
All good, man. All right, Big Z, what's next?
It's a good question. Rumors today are that Mike McDaniel is one of the favorites by the Eagles organization. Diana Rossini reported this. I think it's interesting because – I never viewed him as a great fit with this offense. He's a Kyle Shanahan guy. They rely on a different style of offense than what the Eagles play. Potentially, it would signal that the organization is trying to make a bigger shift than I thought they would. But I thought that was interesting. And then the other name that Diana put out, I believe, was Brian Daboll, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that to make sure. Kevin Stefanski, Cliff Kingsbury are going to get a look. It was at Dable and McDaniel. So it's going to be interesting to see who they end up with, Sills.
So I don't know if Vic Fangio and him worked together in San Francisco when Vic was there. I know they worked together when they were in Miami. I'm wondering how that dynamic works. I mean, surely if you're going to hire somebody like that, no, not that.
Dable?
What's that? Mike
Dable?
McDaniel.
Oh,
Mike
McDaniel.
McDaniel. Mike McDaniel worked for him in Miami. Vic.
Well, Vic worked for Mike.
Vic was the coordinator in Miami.
Yeah, and Mike was the head coach.
Yeah, he worked for him, right? I mean, they worked together, right? I'm saying, I wonder what that dynamic is and if it even matters. Okay? I mean, so are you hiring a guy for Nick with that style of play caller? Or are you hiring a guy to help Jalen? I
don't think it's about Nick. I really don't.
Well, that doesn't fit Jalen.
Look, the only thing I'll say about Nick is I don't know if Nick is a good coach or not. I do wonder though if everybody has gone a little too far on Nick. Like Nick created an offense around Jalen, and it does look ugly. I understand, and there's limitations, and it's risk averse, and it makes us all scratch our head sometimes, and I understand that, but they have been one of the most successful teams in all of football in the last 5 years.
All true.
You know, I don't know. Is Nick smarter? I said this earlier or yesterday, and everybody, of course, I got a bunch of comments, Nick is an idiot. I don't know. I think there's a chance that Nick Sirianni's a little smarter than we're giving him credit for. I'm not going to sit here and say he's like an offensive guru, but all head coaches aren't offensive gurus. Head coaches have to set the direction of the team that ultimately leads to the most success. How many times do you see offensive gurus get hired and all they care about is their offensive, philosophy, and then ultimately it doesn't work? A prime example is Mike McDaniel, who just got fired from Miami because they never achieved great success. So Nick set this offense. Yes, it's ugly, but maybe Nick is right, man. Maybe this is the best way to win, with Jalen Hurts and this type of attack. He's not a high volume passer. When they brought in Kellen Moore, I know it was a more experienced coordinator, but he didn't run his offense after week 4.
Well, he's not running Mike McDaniel's offense in here either.
Well, that's what I mean. Why are you hiring Mike McDaniel to come in and run Nick Sirianni's offense?
It doesn't really matter.
That's why that name doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's a
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they hire.
Well, it does matter.
Okay, but not if you're going to do the same shit you did last year.
Well, that's what the question is.
You just got through saying Nick was a smart guy because he conformed an offense to fit Jalen. Why would he deviate off that?
Well, I agree with you, but because the external noise has gotten to him and the owner loves offense. So maybe he's like, switch it up. These are the 3 things I wrote down. These are the 3 questions I put as my 3 questions on the offensive coordinator change, where we won't really know until we have answers to these things. One is, does the next offensive coordinator bring his own offense, or is he expanding on Nick Sirianni's offense? The second question I have is, how big of a variable is Jalen Hurts' legs in terms of, is he still a dual threat quarterback, or is he going to look more like 25 moving forward in terms of how much he uses his legs to move the football? And then the third question I ask is, will the risk-averse approach remain? Because your schematic can change, but you can remain risk-averse. Those are my 3 questions. If you know the answer to those 3 questions, which we may never know, then I think you'll know exactly what direction they're trying to go. The other thing that I think about what happened yesterday is, it's interesting because Patullo was Nick Sirianni's guy, right? I mean, they worked together for 5 years. He got promoted because of Nick. They made Nick. I haven't seen a press conference or a press release from Nick Sirianni once in my life. Never. I didn't see it on Brian Johnson. You guys can, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting. But yesterday they put out this letter or whatever it was from Nick. I've never seen that. I've never seen a letter come
I
from
think
Nick.
that Brian Johnson, now that you think about it, I think it was an organizational
Yeah,
person.
the organization has decided to move on like most did.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Eagles, it almost was like they were like,
Huh.
okay, Nick, you wanted to hire him. Now you're going to have to put your name on the firing. It didn't say the Eagles are going a different direction. It said Nick Sirianni has met with the coordinator and said he has to go in a different direction.
Okay.
So that's
I'll eat
part
that.
A. That's part A, right? Nick Sirianni bails on his guy or fires his guy, for whatever reason. Part two is, isn't it now on directly the shoulders of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts? I mean, you've gotten rid of the excuses now. You know, we're getting our way. Nick's offense didn't work. Kevin Patullo, the big excuse didn't work. Okay, now it's time for Jalen Hurts to elevate his game, because there's not going to be any excuses left after this. So I think it's an interesting spot for the team, but I'm not that optimistic this is the best fix. I mean, we'll see what happens though.
You think the offensive coordinator changes the direction into a positive note in 26?
I think he's got every chance to. I mean, look, the starting roster coming back is. I think I looked at the offensive side
Based on health.
Based on health, yeah, but the starting roster is going to return mostly. I mean, on offense. I know you got Dallas Goedert. AJ Brown's under contract. I know everybody wants to trade AJ. Unless AJ bullies his way out of here, I would not trade AJ Brown, but whatever. Who knows what they're going to do with him.
Not with the turmoil you have now. I'm not getting rid of that guy. No freaking way. I'm going to go kiss that kid's ass and make him feel all funny and better about it.
Yeah, but there is something to be said about.
And I want him on my – you're not better without him.
I know. Well, that's for sure. There is something to be said, though, about like AJ, if you're going to be here and be a leader on this team, you can't bring to light those type of concerns at that level. If you want to bring things up in meetings, that's fine. If you want to talk about, schematics and things you have to do better as a team, that's fine. But to go to the media every week and create that, remember, you got young, impressionable guys on this team. You got Cooper DeJean, who's best friends with seemingly with AJ Brown. You got, guys who look Darius Cooper. You got guys who look up to AJ Brown, and he's out there causing it. I just think it's not good for the overall culture of the team.
Can I tell you?
I didn't at the time, but I do now.
Can I tell you how Jimmy coached Michael Irvin? I think that's pretty good. Michael Irvin's a pretty big shit talker. He's an aggravator of all aggravators, right, in the history of football. You know what Jimmy has to tell us all? You want to be a shit talker? You want to be an asshole? You better give me the greatest production that you've ever seen in your entire fucking life. Because my level of patience with you, the more bullshit you bring to me, the less, okay, you better have that much production. You want to talk shit? You want to do that? Zander, the point what I'm making is he's not going to change, dude. That zebra's not changing any colors. He's going to be that guy. You have to coach that guy's personality.
We'll catch the ball then in big moments.
That's what I'm saying.
Can I just say something about AJ real quick also on that note? It's less about the ball going off his hands and more about the effort to me. There were several moments that added up throughout the course of the year where it looked like AJ Brown simply was checked out. Yeah. He didn't care. He didn't have a great desire to go and make the play. He didn't give it his full undivided effort. And I think that's bothersome to me.
It is.
You can bitch about it, that's fine, but you should be
Mike
out there
always
working.
Gave top effort.
I get it. A ball's going to hit your hands and drop off every once in a while. Yeah. I know it's inopportune times, but that's just the nature of the beast. Go watch. I mean, I watched the Steelers game the other night. I watched the same thing. So, that bothered me more with AJ than anything. But I don't know. Who do you think the offense can be better next year?
Here, I have more faith in the offense being better next year based on health than I do the OC. If you get healthier, you're going to be good. If Landon Dickerson comes back and Cam gets back, bro, what's different this year than a year ago? 900 less rushing yards. The quarterback doesn't run. There's injuries in your O-line. Let me ask you this. If you had the same health O-line and the same Barkley this year, Would Kevin Patullo be up for a head coaching job?
Maybe. I said that this morning. Passing game's arguably better than it was a year ago with Kellen.
And if it was a little better than like it was a year ago, and you had all those components from a year ago, dude, you're winning 14 games. You're the number one seed in the NFC. But because you didn't have the run game, and your quarterback can't throw you out of trouble, and you got beat by a lesser, inferior team, because why? Do you agree with this? The roster going into that last Sunday wild card game for the Eagles was better, but yet the coaching was better on the other side, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
All right. Do you agree with this? The next OC will tell you all you need to know about your head coach and quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that. For sure. The only thing that I would keep an eye on is, will they stick to it? Because they brought in Kellen. Remember what you guys got to remember. My first offseason when I was full-time content on the air, because before I was behind the scenes, but was before Kellen Moore's year last year when they won the Super Bowl. That offseason, the whole offseason. The whole entire conversation all offseason was Kellen Moore's here to improve the passing game and the pro-style offense of the quarterback. That was what really everybody was hoping with
Absolutely.
Kellen Moore. He had the major passing games in Dallas, and he had that experience. He came from the Chargers. Before that never came to fruition. They maybe they bailed on it too soon. But if you do bring in, let's just say Mike McDaniel happens, okay, are you going to let him run his offense even if it looks ugly at times? I don't know. We'll see.
How about this? Do you think, and me, a tea leaf reader, and I like to listen to things. Do you think 2 days in a row with Jalen Hurts saying me and AJ are in a great place? What's that tell you a little bit?
It doesn't tell me anything.
Nope.
No, not a thing.
Okay.
Not a thing.
I didn't hear him giving kudos. I didn't hear him giving kudos to Kevin Patullo the last 2 days.
Well, Jalen never has given Patullo kudos.
Okay, well, I hadn't heard.
Part of me wonders if that's a little selfish. Everybody else has given Patullo kudos. Saquon said Patullo's a great coach. No, he's not. Our execution is the problem. Devontae Smith, same scheme. We're not executing. A.J. Brown, Kevin Patullo's a great coach. Every single one of them. Offensive linemen, Saquon, Devontae, A.J., Goddard, every single one. The only one who's really made the question mark is Jalen. Now, maybe Jalen's right. Maybe Jalen's more honest. That's a possibility as well. But I thought that the one part that I thought was a little disingenuous was Jalen saying, I don't run anymore because of the way the offensive coordinator calls the games. Like, Jalen, we all remember, bro, you used to destroy defenses with your legs, and they weren't all called runs. All right? You saw a gap in the defense, and you took it. You ran aggressive. You don't do that anymore. That's not on Patullo. I'm sorry, it's not. So I don't know. I don't know if it's disingenuous or brutally honest. I think we're going to find out, right?
Well, here, I'm trying to find that one line that he had in the 2025 or 2000, what was it, this past offseason, when he was asked about, the constant changes of the offensive coordinator. And he says, and I remember him saying, constantly changing, you would like to have some stability in the building where you know what you're doing each year in each possession, and what you're doing when you have an OC that's been there for a little bit kind of makes it hard. I'm paraphrasing, but he said that. I remember the offseason here. You think he's been happy with any offensive coordinator that they've brought in since Shane? I've never heard him endorse one.
Well, Brian Johnson was his buddy.
Okay. I didn't hear him going to bat for him once he, at the end of the year that year. I never heard him go to bat for him.
Yeah, but even if Brian didn't work out, which, by the way, Brian wasn't bad at all. I mean, that was a top 10 offense. It was a decent offense.
8th.
Yeah. That was like the offseason of Jalen, if you remember. They lost in the Super Bowl. That was his first huge year. He was a near MVP candidate. And then they paid him that summer, and they also elevated Brian Johnson, who was Jalen Hurts' friend. They worked together before. So that was kind of like the summer of Jalen, like when they really committed to Jalen Hurts being the face of the team. So I don't think if he looks back with disdain toward Brian Johnson's hiring, then I think that's That's a deflection. I mean, that was done for him. And Brian was successful. But, isn't there a trend forming? It's like now 2 coordinators have been fired. Now, there's also 2 going to a head coach. You got to give the context, but 2 have been fired with Jalen. I can't figure out another. Have 2 coordinators been fired for Josh Allen? Have 2 coordinators been fired for Lamar Jackson? Have 2 coordinators been fired for anybody else? I mean, that's
not that short period of
time. This is what I have a problem with. I do agree that Kevin Patullo was a problem and didn't have a good year. I have a problem completely removing the players from the outcome on the football field.
Of course.
Like, if you're going to tell me that Jalen Hurts and his output with this offense has nothing to do with Kevin Patullo, it's simply because he's a dumbass and that's why he got fired. I struggle to buy that. If you want to tell me it's Patullo, it's Nick, it's Jalen, everybody, the offensive line didn't play good, Saquon strong, okay, that makes sense. It's football. There's a lot of different contexts. There's a lot of different elements and variables involved in everything. That makes sense. I think we've dumbed it down to too much Patullo. Jalen was the quarterback of the offense. Jalen was the quarterback of the offense in 23. He was the quarterback in 24 as well. That really was on the back of the big running game. So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting setup right now. I think the organization is so kind of protective about everything. Like, even John bitches about this. They don't say anything. And I think that kind of leaves some of these decisions up in the air where you don't know what route they're going to go. You don't know where the problem lies. And I wonder if that sometimes creates a little bit of fog inside the organization.
The hiring of the OC will tell you what direction they're going.
Yeah, but is Nick, Jalen, the owner, and the GM all on the same page about what direction they want to go? That's my question.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You think they're gonna all of a sudden change with what they've done because they got knocked out of the wild card? Dude, they're not gonna change that. You got 2 14-win seasons in the last 3 years. You got a Super Bowl win. You got bumped because of injuries. They're going to look at it with injuries too, more so than they're going to look at it. You think Howie's going to turn and look at it and go, well, shit, the OC and the personnel sucked? Or is he going to go like this? The OC maybe wasn't the right guy and the guys were hurt. That's the angle they're going. They're not going to go anywhere else. You think they're going to look at it and go, this was on us? Come on, man. Since when? That's new. That's not how they operate. Oh, hey, the season's on us, everyone. That's why you got a fall guy this week.
We'll see where they're going to go. We'll see where they're going to go. I put down a couple of names I think are a good fit.
All right, let's hear it.
I put Cliff, Greg Roman, Todd Monken. I like Scott Loeffler. I know they're not going to go from inside, but I like him. And Brian Dable. The bad fits, I had McDaniel on the bad fit.
Yes. He's a spread offense guy.
Yeah. Are they going to so if they hire Mike McDaniel, do you think they'll try and run the spread offense?
Will they try to expose Jalen?
Well, no.
Because if he fails
now that is an interesting comment.
Because that's a way to get out of that contract with him, showing that he can't run it. If you bring a spread off, that's why I said, whoever you hire at that OC.
Yeah, but that's stupid. They're going to try and win. That would basically be them not trying to win.
Okay. Well, then, same old. Hey, it is what it is.
No, Dawood. No, Dawood.
If you bring a Kyle Shanahan,
Jalen Hurts is going to be Trey Lance. Someone could put that in a super chat this morning. He's right.
If you're going to bring a Kyle Shanahan guy in here, you're going to expose the guy's issues. This guy's going to be throwing ducks like he did in 23.
Yeah, but you know what else that'll mean too? If they bring in Mike McDaniel and he's running a spread offense in week 1,
Tanner, baby.
Nick Sirianni is completely and utterly castrated.
Absolutely.
If you see that, just know we don't have a head coach.
If Cliff Kingsbury or Mike McDaniel gets hired, Nick Sirianni.
I don't know about Cliff.
Well, Cliff's going to want changes in the offensive coaching staff. Those guys ain't coming in going, hey, I'll coach with your boys. It's not, hey, the coaches you have that I don't have any relationship with? Fuck that. I'm not coaching with your guys.
Dude, if they do that to Nick, that's crazy. He's a dead man walking if they do that.
But you know what he does? John McMullen's article, The politics of Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, but you know what else is at play there? Is maybe the owner doesn't give a shit because he's like, at least we'll get to the end and know. Because if Mike McDaniel's offense fails, you know it's not Nick Sirianni, and maybe Nick Sirianni was smarter than you gave him credit for. If it's successful, then you know that Nick Sirianni put the clamps in 2025, and he was one of the reasons that the risk-averse offense never worked. And if you're the owner, you get to the end of it, and now you know.
Wait,
I think they know anyway.
Wait, they do, but let's go positive here for a minute. What if the guy comes in and Jalen throws for 4,500 yards under fucking Mike McDaniel? And
that's my point. Then you know Nick is
free.
Then you know Nick is wrong.
You're going to fire Nick right there and hire that guy as your next head football coach.
See, I hope everybody, if that's what you want, I hope everybody then relaxes on a couple picks. Like I don't want to hear anybody killing Jalen if you're running a spread offense and his picks go from 4 to 12. I don't want to hear it.
And you're throwing 600 times? Well, right. That's normal.
Exactly. You're going to have more picks. I mean, part of being able to, 23 is a great example of this because I thought Jalen played good in 23.
He threw the ball 581 times in that year.
I thought he played good in 23. I think he had his most passing yards
minus
that year,
the turnovers.
But he had the turnovers. No, but again, that's the point. If you want Jalen to throw more, yeah, he's got to get a little better at it.
But that was too high, Zander.
They were. That was his first year doing it, though.
Yep.
So if you don't if you're
Peyton Manning at 28, Peyton Manning had 28 interceptions his first year under Tom Moore.
That's crazy. Jalen had what?
28.
15? If you're unwilling to accept any interceptions, then all right, you're not even giving Jalen the opportunity to run a different.
To go 2 steps forward, you got to take sometimes a step back, don't you?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't. My question right now is Nick right? I'm wondering if Nick is right.
Nick has been right.
And he has been.
Even with the failure this year, he's been right.
Yeah. I'm saying no.
Say you
I'm
believe
not talking about the team, though. I'm not talking about the team.
I am right here. Say you at the end of the day have come to have a Jesus conversation with yourselves and said, the team wasn't really that good. Well, you did go to 11 wins. You did get to the playoffs. You did win the East. I'm not saying that that's your end all. But if that's a transition year to get you to 26 and you think you're going to be better in 26, isn't that a step back to go forward?
Yeah, my bad. I'm parched. I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the offense, though. Like, is Nick right about the offense? He's been right about the team. Obviously, they've had a lot of success. But is he right about the offense? Because like you said, if McDaniel comes in, he throws 4,500, we all know that Nick was dumb to run risk averse because Jalen could have been put in an environment to throw the ball more. Nick believes, though, that the best way to win is not doing that with Jalen because he didn't do it with his other quarterbacks he's played with. They didn't even do it with McKee when McKee played.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We'll read your supers here. Let's play a little game here. What job do you think is a better job right now? A Charger OC job or the Eagle OC job?
Chargers are in a tough division. Chargers don't have quite the offensive talent. They got a better quarterback. Easier to run most offenses in the league with Herbert.
And the league is set up for passing offenses with a passing quarterback.
More stability at head coach in terms of what the coach's role is. In LA.
Don't you think you have more versatility with Herbert than you do with Hurts?
You do, but you also could fall flat. Like that team hasn't. How many playoff games have they won?
Not many.
Has Herbert won a playoff game?
I think one.
One playoff game?
Maybe something like that.
Jalen's won 6.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, like it depends. You know what I mean? I think you can view them differently. But if you're a spread offense guy, I mean, it's not a question. If you're a spread offense guy, it's Justin Herbert.
Isn't that a crazy different conversation? You mentioned Hurts has 6 playoff wins, and then you turn around and go, "Who do you think is a better player?" And it's hands down, it's the guy in LA. He's a better player. He's a better, more skilled player.
He's a better quarterback. There's no doubt.
Okay, he's a better player. By the way, it's not a rip on Jalen. Look, I'm going to say
this is the problem with Herbert.
I'm going to say it one last time. I think Jalen Hurts is a good ball player. I do. I think he's a good ball
Yeah, I
player.
don't think anybody's saying he's not, but that doesn't mean that it's, that there's no complexity to building a team around him. There is.
There is. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
there
And by
is.
the way, he's 3-1 against the Eagles.
Herbert,
Yeah.
0 for 3 in the playoffs. Is that what he is? Yeah.
Okay. 0 for 3.
No, I mean, raw talent, he's good, but there is more to playing the position than just raw talent. I think Hurts deserves credit for that, but that's also changed a little bit. I mean,
can you name a wideout in Los Angeles?
yeah, I can. Yeah,
Okay.
Keenan Allen. Yeah, they had what's that guy's name? Mike.
12-year Keenan Allen. Okay.
Mike what? Oh, Keenan Allen's a beast. Come on, don't delegitimize Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Did he have a grand this year? I think he
Did
had 700
AJ?
yards. He did.
Did AJ?
I don't know how many yards.
Yeah, he had 777.
Okay, just checking. All right, just checking.
Wait a second, though. Don't be a dickhead.
What? They didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver, my friend.
No, they didn't. He had 1,023 with Herbert, 1,243. He had 1,021, 20. He had 8 yards short of 1,000. 19, 18, 17. Come on. Keenan Allen's a good player.
He is a good player. He's a really fine ball player.
Who else do they got?
Yeah, who else do they got? Let me know. Help me out here.
Darius Davis.
Who?
Le'Veon Campbell.
Who?
I don't know. Trey Harris, Jaquay Jackson, Quentin Johnston, and Ladd McConkey. That talk about somebody overrated. Ladd McConkey.
Man.
People really tried to tell me that guy was like one of the top receivers in the game. All right, dude. That guy's like,
man. I didn't see it either. Not happening.
You kidding me, dude? I'm good on that guy.
Do you agree with this line? What the Eagles do with A.J. Brown is going to dictate what they do in the draft.
They got to go trenches in the draft.
You get rid of A.J., what are you doing?
You think? Wait a second. You think you're going to pick somebody at 23 overall? It's going to replace AJ?
No. I'm asking you what you're doing.
Sign George Pickens.
Okay. All right. Hey, by the way, I was told that guy was a character issue, and DK Metcalf was the guy that got suspended, wasn't he? That's funny. George Pickens, you just replace?
No, I'm good on George Pickens. George Pickens, you think A.J. Brown caused a fit? Oh, man. George Pickens would drop a nuke on Philadelphia.
Oh, my God. This guy. I think there'd be hand fighting.
He'd be charged with war crimes, George Pickens in Philadelphia. He would rumble this city, man. That would be so funny.
I want to throw this at you here because I want to get clarity from you. Sirianni and Hurts, if those guys are here, same old. The main thing's the main thing, right?
Main thing, baby. Yeah, I agree. Same thing.
Until you change that dynamic.
I got to see where Jalen's going in his career. He's getting older. He's running way less. He's trying to become a passer. I don't know. I just don't know where they're going. It's going to be very interesting. John brought up a good point. He's like, if you're bringing in an established OC, they're going to have more questions for the Eagles than the Eagles are going to have for them.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Make the quarterback better or not? You want me to make the quarterback better or the offense better? Isn't that two separate questions?
Kind of. Well, I don't know. I mean, this is why I think a crux question is Nick right? Because they're going to come in and say, I'm going to make the quarterback better. I'm going to run this offense. And then when they start turning the ball over and losing football games, is Nick's going to be over in the corner with his arms crossed like this. Well, I told you throwing the ball 20 times a game was a better recipe. I told you hitch routes were a better recipe. I told you keeping things out of the middle of the field was a better recipe. I told you 200 or 350 carries for a running back was a better recipe. I wonder, Sileo.
Hold on here. I'm going to use my Miami math here for a second. Carry the 2, carry the 9.
You got to be fired up for that Monday game, speaking of Miami.
Oh, my God, man. Am I ever? Are you freaking kidding me, man? 700.
It doesn't get ugly for you guys. I think you guys are going to be able to hang in it because you guys are feisty and physical. and you got good lines.
And it's home.
That Indiana team is a fucking freight train right now, dude.
I love it. I told Mario last night, let them motherfuckers keep believing that shit. And that's when I'm going to punch you right in your face. You bet. My O-line is better than theirs, and my D-line's better. I'm pretty good going.
You know, we never got to talk about it because it was Friday, the game, Friday night. And then we had the weekend, and we talked about the Eagles game. So we never got a chance to talk about that Indiana game. I've never seen
that was a more impressive victory than the Bama victory, is the way they killed
that. Was a bloodbath. Oregon had no chance.
They got to put 80 on them.
And by the way, how about the people now on social media? They're cheating. I'm like, of course. Of course they're cheating now. But who knows? Maybe they were stealing cents. Who cares? Who knows? It's part of the game. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But that team destroyed them. Sorry, what were you saying about the Eagles? Let me get back to the fucking Eagles, which stress me out to the gills. This fucking team.
I'm adding here. You think 755 carries is a lot in the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I added 120 carries, 345. This is just regular season. 320, 345 and 24, 280 this year. And I put an extra 120 with the last year and this year. That's 855. You think Barkley's done?
No, he's not done. Why would Barkley be done?
He's magically going to be healthier next year.
I didn't say he was magically going to be healthier.
I just think you said it. Do you think he's all of a sudden going to turn into what?
I don't think he's going to turn into anything. I think he's got to fight for yards more because the holes are never going to be there like they were in 24. And if the offensive line, hopefully they get better. I mean, that's a big one, you know. Like if you're an offensive coordinator and taking this job, you got to look and you're like, all right, they got an offensive line that's all under contract. And Mark, I just sent it. Sorry, dude. And your center played like shit. Your left guard played like shit. Mailata still was good. Tyler Steen was meh. And Lane Johnson is, potentially going to be done.
Mark Holmes is he's chomping at the bit. He's asking for the link at 12 after.
Can you blame him?
No.
No, see, this is the thing. If Eagles fans are going to dish it out, then you got to take it too. All right. We told Mark that him and Dakota could have fun on the couch and on the sofa. And guess what? The only thing we got to do was we got 60 more minutes to get embarrassed in national TV more than they did this year. And we are right back with them, chilling on the sofa after getting cremated by a team that was missing all their best players and didn't even have George Kittle for most of the game and was throwing to Demarcus Robinson, a name you've probably never heard of until Sunday night. So I hope Mark brings it to Philly today. As much as I love you, Philly 500, we're due for a ripping.
Oh, man, that's at the bottom of the hour here. You think you're in a good place heading into the offseason? Yeah,
I actually do. Okay. I've changed on this.
Tell me how.
I've changed on this because I look at the roster and I know we have some guys to sign, but just hear me out here. I know we love to go ahead to like who's going to get paid and how it's going to complicate things. Leave that out of it for a second.
Okay.
Jordan Davis is under contract for next year. Jalen Carter is under contract for next year. Moro Ojomo is under contract for next year. Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith are under contract for next year. Quinyon, Cooper, Bond, Jahad Campbell, and Andrew Makuba are under contract next year. That leaves Jalen Phillips and Reed Blankenship and cornerback too. 3 spots to address on the defense. You go over to the offensive side of the ball. Right tackle's under contract. Right guard's under contract. Center, left guard, left tackle under contract. Saquon under contract. Jalen under contract. Wide receiver 1 and 2 under contract. The only thing you need there is a wide receiver 3 and a tight end. So if you look at the roster, again, maybe they've gotten older. Maybe they're not as good. That's a valid talking point. But you're going to return most people. So if Howie has a good aggressive offseason where maybe you make some trades or some changes or you bolster some things where you need to get bolstered, set yourself up to pay the guys that you need to pay. I don't know if you bring back Jalen Phillips. If you don't bring back Jalen Phillips, that's probably what they take in round 1 of the draft as an edge. I think they can fix this. The question is, what type of offensive evolution happens? Because I'm not sure what the offense can become. All I know is that defense is going to be good again.
Okay, how about this? So are you under the belief that there is a Super Bowl hangover and that only 9 teams have ever repeated in history, that you think that they're thinking this? Hey, man, 9 teams in 60 years of the Super Bowl have only repeated, and we had a bad year. We had guys that were banged up, and it is what it is.
Yeah, maybe.
I hear you guys saying it all the time in the mornings going like this. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. Brady didn't win a Super Bowl every year.
But we added extra
Brady had a
pressure.
10-year gap in the middle.
Yeah, but you're talking about ordinary. Nobody in Philly wants ordinary with this team.
And you have to be realistic too, man.
I get it, but this is the best roster that's ever been assembled in Philadelphia, regardless of what John McMullen says about the talent of the team. And if they don't take advantage of the window when it's open, then everybody's going to look back and say, man, that sucks. I get it. We got one, so it feels much better that we got one at least. Yeah. But, you really want to take advantage of this team because you don't have Super Bowl windows forever. Ask Mark Holmes. I mean, even them in the 90s when they were dominant, it didn't last 15 years. They won 3 and 5 years. That was their window. They capitalized on it. So I feel like there's more pressure on it because of that.
Do you look in these last, since 2021, okay, 2021, do you think that the Philadelphia Eagles, have they let 2 years of that Super Bowl window? Have they?
No, I don't see it like that. This year, maybe, but not really.
Nope.
No, I don't see it like that. I just think that they didn't do what they needed to do. Not everybody was bought in.
So you're assuming they're getting back to their place next year?
Well, I don't want to say that, but I think they still have a good chance, obviously, to be a great contender. I mean, I think.
Do you not agree if they don't get back to the game in the next 3 years, that those 2 years will be more accentuated, that they didn't close in 23 and in 25?
Yep. My message to Howie was this on Zander Time this morning. Be aggressive. Be Howie Roseman. Don't worry about narratives. Don't worry about fans. Don't worry about any players. Don't worry about the egos. You know what you have to do to open the window back up. You built this roster. You're one of the best GMs in football. You have what you need at your disposal to make moves, to make changes, to pay people, to not pay people, to cut, to trade, whatever you got to do. Be aggressive and right the ship, because don't let this opportunity pass you by. You sit there resting on your laurels thinking, all right, we'll be back, like you just said, and then look across the NFC. Look across the NFC East. What if the Giants hire John Harbaugh? Guess what? They ain't winning 3 games next year. All right. No. Jaden Daniels probably going to be back fully healthy next year. Dallas is going to be better next year. You look across the NFC, the Bears are now a threat. The Packers are a threat. The Lions are probably going to return to relevance. The Vikings, maybe if they go get a quarterback, they got there's the league changes. Look at the AFC right now. Look at how many different teams are coming in. So you got to expect that a lot of teams are going to emerge as contenders. The Panthers, another interesting team that could be a contender. The whole NFC South, really, the Saints got better. The Falcons have a decent roster. The Bucs are always in the mix. I mean, the West has 3 playoff teams in it right now. You can't rest on your laurels. So you got to be aggressive. And this is what Howie's paid the big bucks for. He'll know what to do more than we will.
Okay, so you think being aggressive is bringing Doug back as OC?
Oh, don't tempt me with a little Doug Peterson. I fucking love Doug Peterson.
Is it that being aggressive?
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
Wait. You just said you want to be aggressive. I'm being aggressive.
Let me say something to you. I'm going to fire you, hire somebody to put in your spot, and then in 2 years, I'm going to ask you to be the second fiddle on that show. You're going to say, fuck you.
You know what, though? Here's what I would say.
It doesn't make sense, dude. Nick replaced Doug.
Don't put that on me.
No, I'm just saying, Nick replaced Doug. You're not going to have Doug come and work for Nick.
Then why would Frank?
Because Nick worked for Frank.
I know.
He never replaced Frank.
Frank's going to have to come in and work for Nick now. Nick worked for him when he was the OC in San Diego when the team was there.
No, it's different. It's different.
Position coaches?
Be like Kalen DeBoer calling Saban, hey, can you come help my defense? No.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're talking iconic guys. Okay? I mean, hey, Doug said it on this program. He'd do it. Doug said it.
I know
we can replay the bite. He said it.
I don't know what
I asked the question, Doug, would you come back and be the offensive coordinator? He goes,
I'm intrigued. What do you think? What if they hire Mike McDaniel? I almost feel like that won't work.
I didn't think Kellen Moore would work.
It did work though, because he had a better knack for in-game play calling.
And he changed completely. He's not a passing coordinator. I mean, he's not a coordinator guy.
That was not Kellen Moore's offense.
Yeah, but that was Kellen Moore also. He got the job because he did change. That's how he got that job. He didn't make Jalen Hurts better. Passing game blew. I mean, he rode Saquon Barkley to New Orleans. That's what that guy did. That's what he did. Mike McDaniel. Are you going to be good? You think Philly would be good at seeing that Hello Kitty?
I think he's a fucking goofy, but that's all right. I'm a goofy.
Yeah, no, I'm all right with goofy too, man. I mean, all of a sudden he's got a Hello Kitty bag and he drives one of them cube cars. You know, you can plug his car into your lighter.
I'm hating on Mike. He's a good offensive mind.
Oh, he absolutely is, man.
Yeah.
The way he schemes up people, getting them open. But then you got to ask the question, well, how's that help the quarterback? He can't free defenses. I'm going to scheme up an offense, and I'm going to watch AJ out in the middle of the – you know what you're going to see pretty soon? You're going to see AJ like he's like the guy in Brazil, Jesus praying over the city. There's going to be a statue of AJ.
That's an epic statue. That's an epic statue.
Oh, it is. One of my iconic statues of all time. I love that statue.
I don't know. I don't freaking know, dude. I feel like if they hire McDaniel, it's going to be the most interesting.
Who would be the worst hire in your opinion?
The worst hire?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's this thing with Todd Monken?
What do you mean? What's this thing with him?
Yeah, what Todd Monken?
I think that'd be good. If Jalen wants to run, if the guy just got rid of haven't we been like
he's not gonna run. He doesn't want to run.
Okay, if you take that premise and let's just say that's true, haven't we been hoodwinked and bamboozled? I mean, if you're Jeffrey Lurie, you got to be like, what the fuck?
I want my return on my money.
That's paying somebody to be, and then they just say, all right, after they get paid, they don't do half their job.
Hey, wait, sounds like somebody we know. Anyway, I'd be like this. Hey, hang on here, man. I bought this house and it's leaking.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Jalen's got it wrong.
How much do you think the agency, Clutch Sports, has a lot to do with style of play that Jalen wants to play?
That's a good question. You think the wife has anything to do with it? Don't get hit. I
think the agent.
Kev says that.
My wife would say, you can throw yourself under a truck if it gets you $51 million. I think the agent's probably saying this. I mean,
yeah, but after that first 51 million hits, and you got the house and the cars and everything's paid off.
1 year, I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm not waiting 3 years. Give me 1 year, I'm out. Don't you think, though, man? Do you think there's a little ego with Hurts too, that he wants to be looked at the rest of these guys?
Well, I think it's natural.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it either.
I think it's natural for him to want to extend his shelf life. If you were making 51 million, and I could say you'll make it for an extra 3 years, or you'll make it for an extra 10 years, you'd be like, "What do I got to do to make it for 10 years?" So I think that's natural. I think he probably wants to protect himself, which is okay. But if the offense is going to suffer because of it, then you can take that somewhere else. There's another team that will pay you $51 million to do that. I guarantee.
Isn't that kind of what happened this year?
Yeah, it is.
Sure looks like, and you bring up also the sliding before and all that. Sure looks like a lot of business decisions being made out there.
Oh, yeah.
AJ not going full out and Hurts sliding and all that.
Tons of business decisions.
Yeah, you got a bunch of businessmen out there playing ball instead of football players.
Well, this is what happens when everybody gets paid.
Yes, sir. Wins the ring, bling, bling. Everyone starts going, where's my place? Where's my bite of the apple? How you doing, right?
Everything's going to be all right, Eagle fans. All right? Everything is going to be all right.
What a great. There is more content in the offseason for this team than there was during the regular
This might be the
season.
most we've ever had for an offseason.
Oh, my God. This is going to be iconic. Holy cow. He's in the green room, and he's ready to
I hope Mark Holmes takes it to Philly today. No prisoners. We dish it. You got to be able to take it. No prisoners.
Hey, wait a minute now. Philly, you should have seen I text Philly yesterday. He didn't get back to me for about 2 hours. Usually gets back to me right away. I can't wait to kick his ass. All of a sudden, man, yeah, Sills, I'll be right there, man. And I'm like, let's read these supers, brother.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. By the way, Holmes got his own problems too. Who knows what they're doing?
There you go.
I don't know if we're playing Pickens. Who knows
What about Christian Parker interviewing?
I actually think that'd be a good hire for them.
It would be a great hire.
If you're a Cowboy fan.
Yep.
And I, you know what else I weirdly think? Fans are going to rip me for this. I think Jonathan Gannon would be okay there.
Yeah.
Because he's going to run a more – he's going to change up that scheme. It's not going to be as good as Fangio, obviously, but that's a better type of defense to play with Dak Prescott, I think. He's actually going to get your points. So if you can hold him in red zones and, you can play that bend but don't break and you actually don't break, then –
If you think about it, Jonathan Gannon had the best front seven pressure numbers in the history of the Eagles. He had 4 guys at double-digit sacks that year. He had 70 sacks.
Are all their DTs back next year? Mark, are all your DTs under contract next year? Quinnen? I can't hear you. Just not.
Yeah.
Kenny is too? Yeah, all right. So they're going to be good in the interior.
Those 2 dudes are in the middle. Yeah, let's get to these.
Here's Matthew. Locker room feels flat. Last time this happened, we landed AJ, then Barkley. Both sparked runs to the big game. History says a big offensive move is coming. Who's next? Where are you going to make a big offensive move?
Yeah, where's that coming from? If you make a swing, it's at edge.
Guys, they've already maxed out their pay at every position. You can't really get better at any position. This is my whole point about the offense being so underwhelming. It's it's one thing to have an underwhelming offense when you're Justin Herbert and you don't have an offensive line, or you're another one of these teams that has no receivers, or you're Brock Purdy and you're throwing at DeMarcus Robinson. We got everything. Yeah. You can't even come up with a trade to improve a spot.
I got it, man.
Tight end, maybe. Here's Hangry Dog. Sileo, reading between the lines, correction. Didn't Doug say he would do consulting role, not OC? Doug also said Frank could help with run game in Philly.
No, he said he'd be the OC.
I got to go back and listen to that interview. You should try and get Doug back on. Although he's probably interviewing now. Maybe. I don't know if he is or not. Mr. Hill says,
Sills, I hope replay that. Doug saying that.
Still pinned on the channel. Sills, I hope you are only the sideline next to Mike Monday night. Oh, on the sideline. He's not flying to Miami. This guy knew he wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if Miami can't get him to go to Miami for a national championship. Here's Tyler. Bold prediction. Without AJ, Hurts and Sirianni miss every postseason. My self-Hurts game makes me hate football. Buy out his no-trade clause and get Burrow. Now, talking about being aggressive, that's some Howie Roseman.
That'd be aggressive.
Yeah.
Going to Duke Tobin and going, hey, I'll tell you what. I'll send you Hurts. Give me Burrow.
Hurts in 2-1.
Yeah.
He'll do it.
It's cheaper. It'd be cheaper.
Would you do that deal?
If I was Cincinnati?
No, if you're the Eagles.
You'll in a minute.
I wouldn't even think about it.
AJ Brown would beg to stay.
Beg. He would have 2,100 next year. Are you kidding?
He would. He'd beg. Devontae Smith with Joe Burrow would have 1,400 yards.
Wait, you want to piss people off right before the Battle Royale? How successful would the Eagles team be with Dak Prescott?
He'd throw for $5,000.
I agree. They would fucking cook. They would cook on offense. They had the number 1 offense this year.
Yeah. He'd have $5,000.
Oh, my Lord.
He'd throw for 48 touchdowns this year. You know what he would have? He would look like Stafford.
Oh, man. Don't tell Philly 500. He's going to get so mad at me. Don't do it. Don't tell him I said it. Here's we got that one. Here's Dirty Date. number one 5-star, not one 5-star recruit in Indiana. That's impressive. Very impressive.
That's a fact.
Sileo says if Mike can make shitty Tua look good, he can dial up some serious plays for us. And their run game is electric, 4th in the league in yards per carry.
Tua's a passer, though.
Yeah, but that's one of the biggest things. Mike McDaniel and that Shanahan tree, they have their own run scheme. So if they come in here, they're going to change it from Jeff Stoutland. That's a big ask.
That is. Let me see here.
I hope.
Oh, wow. He was on that Washington staff, that 2000 Washington staff, when they had like Matt LaFleur and McVay and all them guys.
Let me finish these out. Philly says, Philly McGilly, trading AJ will be a massive mistake. He has a huge cap hit. These last 4 years, he's made Jalen look better than he actually is, and they'll have a new play caller. Why hasn't he requested a trade? Well, we'll find out. I agree that they shouldn't trade him. I don't think it's a good thing. Kyle says, I'm going to quote Richard Sherman. We paid for a Ferrari car, but there's a Corolla engine. Corolla. Not the one you just saw at the gas station earlier today. Right? Christopher Michael says, Howie shit would be sending AJ with Hurts for Joe. No. Why would you get rid of AJ if you're bringing in Joe?
No way.
All right, Sills, get this battle royale going.
Hey,
don't tell Philly 500 what I said.
Hey, listen. I want to show you something with Mike McDaniels if he does. So here, Mike McDaniel worked with Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Matt LaFleur on that Mike Shanahan staff. Holy shit. Okay.
Jalen's playing checkers while everyone else is playing chess, Shady says. Other owners are stupid. How they can fleece them. I agree. All right, so
all right, Big Z, we appreciate you. Make sure everybody catches him on Birds 365 in the morning. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm going to tell Philly 500 here. I got to say this, man. When I sent Mark Holmes the invitation for it today, got right back to me. I sent him one for Philly 500. Took about an hour and a half. I think he was – he was like, I don't know, man. Without further ado, this got to be one of the most anticipated battle royales of the year. How is this going to go? This is going to be one of the epic ones. Without further ado, one of the great Dallas Cowboy content creators and our friend, the legendary Mark Holmes. And without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, one of the greatest Philadelphia Eagles content creators, our friend, Philly 500, joins us now here on the program. How you doing, guys?
Here we go, right to the couch.
Money with me today.
I can tell you this: I am really understanding why Cowboy fans are so delusional and nuts. It's been a long time since I've had to take a seat on the couch. I forgot what it's like, but now I see what it's like to be a Cowboy fan year in and year out. This is pathetic.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to give you the first go here. Actually, Mark, you know what? If you don't mind, let me give Philly the first five.
I'm just going to sit to him. Enjoy.
Because you know why? He is still
I gotta say,
champ.
Wait a second. You texted me. I texted you as soon as I could. I can't help it if I have things to do. I can't sit in front of my computer screen like Mark. I can't help that.
Okay. Hey, I was.
And then tell Zander to stop sniffing cowboy panties because I heard what he said earlier. I heard what he said. I hope Mark kicks his ass. What kind of shit is that? I'm defending your team, bro.
Hey, all right.
I'll remember that.
Philly,
I'm just kidding.
What happened? What happened on Sunday, dude?
Out-coached, outclassed. Big time, man. Yeah, it was really disappointing. I'm very, very disappointed in that playoff performance. I hate the whole thing leading up to it. I keep going back to you could have got the second seed, but you arrogantly sat there and acted like, well, we got the 3 seed. We're so good, we don't have to worry about, right? And you see Shanahan come in with a depleted team, and he outcoached you. You just got outcoached off the field, man. And to me, it was very eye-opening, that's for sure.
Mark, what was your feelings as a Cowboy fan watching the Eagles go down in flames on Sunday in that wild card game against a lesser team, as Philly said, that 49er depleted team?
I felt like I just couldn't wait for Wednesday to see Philly 500. I literally, as soon as it was over, called Philly 500. I mean, literally within a minute of it. Okay. And I'm surprised.
He did.
And I said, Philly,
Of course I answer. I always answer.
And I said, you don't have to go to Chicago and play them.
Yeah, it's true.
Boy.
And what did I say, Mark? Move over.
Yeah, move on over.
Move over, buddy. Because I need to spot on that couch.
Playoffs. Yeah, but no, it's sad because there's nobody from the NFC East that's in the playoffs. To be quite honest with you, in some regard, I'm really excited that you're sitting here eating crow. But in the same breath, I look and say our division sucks ass. It's not a good
field. But Mark, I would say this: when I look at the final four teams, I'm not overwhelmed by anybody that's going to be playing this weekend. And if I'm the Eagles, this looks like a missed opportunity, dude. That one of the years of the Super Bowl window being open was shut, and now you've got to reopen that going into 26 here. I mean, dude, these things don't stay open that long. You can't lose a roster like that and get knocked out by a shitty 49er team.
I would argue that I still think the Eagles roster is more talented than most of these teams in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I do. Philly, sure. I mean,
Philly, read between the lines. He's saying they choked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it.
Philly, I'm going to ask you this. Changing the OC does what for 26? If you're going to do the same shit over and over.
It depends. Well, here's the thing. You can't do the same shit over and over again. This has to be the end of the prevent offense philosophy. I think you have to strip Nick Sirianni of all say in what goes on in the offense. You have to. Otherwise, it doesn't matter who you bring in because you're going to be putting them in that bubble. No, I think not only do I think you have to do it, I think they did it. And that's why I think Patullo is staying, because that's Nick Kotite, we're going to call him this all season. That's his consolation prize.
That's what Angelo's calling him. He's calling him Nick Kotite right now. So, Mark, Zander kind of brought this up to me, and I'm going to ask you, what do you think Dak Prescott would do with that offense? If he was the quarterback of that football team, what do you think? What do you think he would do with that offensive talent?
Well, to quote somebody, we got a 6-pack of beer, half a pack of cigarettes, and we're headed for Chicago.
What the hell are you saying, Mark?
That's Blues Brothers, man.
There's no evidence to support Mark's claims.
All right.
Dak Prescott has had plenty. Look, Dak would have had a great all season. He would have competed to Stafford for MVP, and he would have choked. He would have choked in the first round. He would have choked too.
I tell you what. You asked before we got on here. You asked the question of what the Eagles would be like with Dak Prescott. What would the Cowboys be with the Eagles defense?
They'd be in the NFC Championship game.
They wouldn't be in the NFC. There's no evidence to show that.
Oh my God.
There wouldn't. No, you can't just put them in there because you feel like putting them in there. You have no evidence that Dak quarterback. No, because Dak.
Mark, what was the highest rated defense during?
You can't just do that.
Okay, what was the highest rated defense?
Rated was 7th, and the problem.
I think it was higher than that.
No, but here's the problem was.
Well, I think it was higher than that.
Just hold on, just listen to me for a second. The biggest problem or the flaw of it was Dan Quinn basically did that shit with mirrors. We never had a defensive line that could stop the run, and when you get to the playoffs, no, I'm serious. We haven't had a decent defensive tackle until this year since Jay Ratcliffe. We got mollywopped, and we literally had a linebacker.
Come on, Sills is laughing.
He playing linebacker against the 49ers.
Sills is laughing because he knows you're full of shit.
Bro, you had a pretty good O-line. You know that. Don't tell me you have an O-line.
I said defensive line. Defensive line.
You had good enough defenses to win, Mark. Now you're saying that even though your defense statistically, you're saying your defense was statistically ranked in the top 10, but it wasn't real, and it was just.
I can't ever say.
So you can't even.
Here's what I can say here.
You can't put nothing on that.
But Mark,
this is the difference between
the biggest mistake that you had during the Dak Prescott era was keeping Jason Garrett as long as you did.
You did, yes. I agree with that.
Okay. He 100%. Was an okay coach. He was not the right guy. Now, guess what the Eagles are going through? I'm going to go to Philly here. Philly, your head football coach. How much accountability do you think he faces on this thing here and what went down this year with this football team?
I don't know how much blame he's going to get, but I think he deserves a ton. Because I think the decision to hire your friend as offensive coordinator really, really hampered us, But it's not just that. I mean, listen, I understand the philosophy, right? Because I heard Zander say, "Well, maybe Nick's right," and in some ways, yeah, I understand. You want to play the turnover battle. You want to do that. You feel like you don't want to put Jalen Hurts in certain situations. I get all that thinking, but he took it to such a ridiculous level that if you made one mistake or if one thing is off, you're going to lose. Look how many games they blew leads, right? They blew leads. I think Nick deserves a ton of. I think Nick is the primary responsible person, and in some ways, even though I don't like Patullo, I think he's a scapegoat.
He is. I mean, whether you fire him or not, if you run the same style of play, what are you doing here? Now, Mark, I'll say this. You know what's really cool about the Cowboys this year?
What's that?
I was told that George Pickens was a cancer in the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? The only guy that got suspended this year between the two, DK Metcalf and George Pickens, was DK Metcalf. He missed the final 2 games. And George Pickens was the guy that played for you the entire season. I mean, if you're Pittsburgh, you got to look at yourselves and go, what a shitty move that thing was. Could you imagine him on the other side of DK Metcalf? I mean, you should have kept that guy in the building to give Rodgers more weapons. So I lead to this. I mean, are you just going to let that guy walk out of the building?
The rumors are they're going to tag him and try and work out a long-term deal. They're not going to let him get away. In worst cases, you make him play on it. But I think –
and you're not paying a running back big money like you were with Zeke a couple years ago.
No, Javonte Williams, we're looking at roughly about $6 million if they decide to keep him. But knowing the Cowboys, they may look at that last game and say, oh, Jaden Blue, he's what we thought when we drafted him, and just let Javonte Williams go, which at $6 million, I think that's a steal compared to what we used to pay for Zeke, who wasn't performing, as well as Tony Pollard. I mean, he literally had the best season rushing that we've had since 2019.
I'm going to ask you about Jalen Hurts here now. Philly, if Hurts doesn't run the football and doesn't use that as part of his arsenal, and you don't have a dominant run game like you didn't have it this year, I want to put a number out yet, okay? In 2022, Jalen Hurts ran the ball for 765 yards, and you had a guy in there called Miles Sanders who had nearly 1,300 yards. He had about 2,100 yards rushing, and he had 32 touchdowns. And that team, again, you're talking about really a great running attack. Well, this year you had a 1,000-yard rusher. He was underwhelming this year. He was a good player. He wasn't an exceptional player. And I'm talking Saquon Barkley. If your passing game is not elevated, your quarterback, showed that they need more out of the run game. Or the passing game is still 25th. Your previous, it was 28th, 29th. What are you going to do in 26 to elevate the offense? Doing what?
Here's what I'll say. I think that the idea of getting, and I keep hearing people say that Hurts doesn't want to run the ball anymore. I don't know what's true or not. Okay, I don't. But
his actions are speaking to that, though. You know what I mean?
Well, but then he comes out and says that that's not the case. They don't want him to run. I don't know. So I don't know what to make of it. But what I'm saying is you can't take away one of his weapons, right? I'm not saying you have to overly run him, but you got to do it enough where it's an actual threat. And one of the things that surprised me most about this game was I really thought they were going to unleash that a lot more. I thought they were saving that back. So you have to get back to it. But to me, you know, it's interesting because you've got a guy like A.J. Brown, right? And you say, well, guys like A.J. Brown don't want to play in offenses like this, right? And they're never going to be happy not getting the ball and this conservative offense, right? And then people say, well, Jalen Hurts needs this kind of offense. So to me, when I look at the offensive coordinator and I look at what I do, I'm going to go get a coordinator that utilizes everybody. And to me, it's time for Jalen Hurts to either sink or swim. I'm so sick of the Jalen Hurts conversations. I want to put an offense out there that utilizes everybody. And if he has to throw more, fine. Yes, he'll turn the ball over more. That's going to happen. I'm okay with it. But it's time to sink or swim with this whole thing.
Mark, what do you make of the Dallas Cowboys asking and requesting an interview with Christian Parker? You would weaken a little bit in the coaching staff on that side with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think you're going to get a very talented guy that knows what he's doing, especially in a weakness for you with the secondary right now. You're bringing in a guy like that. What do you make of that potential hiring?
Well, one of the mistakes the Cowboys have always made is they wait till the last minute. They just kind of set their sights and say, you know, we're going to hire Brian Schottenheimer. What you actually have right now is an opportunity to really get intel. You're actually interviewing people from all over the place. You know, you've got with him, whether you hire him or not, you got a couple hours you can sit there and pick his brain to say, what would you do with our DBs and try and figure out what is possible. But I'm with you. If he were hired as a DC, he's going to know exactly how to go ahead and go against this defense, and definitely is a well-respected guy. I look at what he's done with your secondary. I didn't think your secondary was going to be that good.
Especially with Adoree Jackson. Look what he did with Adoree Jackson and all the guys back there. He did a spectacular job back there. Plus,
you guys literally got rid of half of your talent and you didn't skip a beat. And, you know, you've seen what happened with ours. Al Harris was really good with our secondary, and I think he made our players overachieve on there. But there's a dynamic between him and Shotty that they just feel like he let him get away with too much stuff. I definitely like the interview with him.
How about that, Philly? What about potentially losing Christian Parker to the Dallas Cowboys?
So one of my biggest fears this offseason is losing Parker and Clint Hurt. Maybe you can answer this. They said they requested a interview with him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So can the Eagles actually decline it?
Yeah. When
really?
you're
I'm declining it. I'm declining it.
But here's the one thing that is pretty much the traditional.
I know.
You can't request an interview for a lateral move.
Right.
Like if the Cowboys just wanted to name him the secondary coach, they can just not say, I don't want to have that happen. But if the Cowboys are saying, I want him to be the defensive coordinator of the team, that's an elevated position.
Yeah.
That's kind of where usually teams give that request.
I think that the Eagles should go to him and say, hey, we want you to be the defensive coordinator of the future. Him or Clinton. And then
here's more
pay
money
them accordingly.
Do it.
But give him more money. I mean, pay him as a defensive coordinator. I don't want to lose him. I think he's fantastic. And I think Clint Hurt is fantastic. I think the one strong point that we have is we have really good defensive coaches. I like what they've all done. So, yeah, I hope he doesn't go. And then if he goes, I definitely hope it's not the Dallas, because that would suck. I'm not going to lie. That would suck.
I want to ask Philly this one here, Mark. And I'm going to ask you, how would you handle the A.J. Brown situation? You, Philly.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm keeping him. Well, I would get him in and say, all right, look, we're going to get this offensive coordinator. The offense is going to change, and this is what we're going to have. And I get him excited and behind it. I have no interest in trading A.J. Brown. For what? For what? A fourth-round pick, and then I need another receiver? I don't see how that benefits his team. I think you're better off trying to keep him and get him excited about the offense with the new coordinator.
Real quick on that then. I didn't ask Zander this, and I should have. Wouldn't the new offensive coordinator excite AJ more than it would the quarterback?
I guess it depends on the coordinator, right? I don't
Well,
know.
if the coordinator's
Because-
Mike McDaniel, this is the guy that got the ball to Tyreek Hill and got the ball to Jalen Waddle.
Well, I think that
Isn't
excites
that how
Jalen
you
Hurts
motivate
too.
AJ doing that?
Yes, right, of course. But I don't think that Jalen Hurts loves this offense either. Like, I think if you told Jalen Hurts he's going to throw the ball more and do more, I think he'd be okay with that. I really do.
Mark, how would you handle? Obviously, you get a chance to see CeeDee Lamb and his dynamics in Dallas. How do you think you would handle the AJ Brown scenario?
Here's the reality: is finding receivers of that quality, knowing what we went through after we got rid of Amari Cooper, you can't just get rid of him. And here's the other reality of if you trade him pre-June 1st, you're taking a $43 million dead hit. And even if you make it a post-June 1st, you're still taking another $16 million. He's only 23 next year. So you need to figure out a way to make that guy happy and work into your system more than anything else, and kind of, let him know, this year was a mistake. We got rid of Kevin Patullo. We're going to be more, wide receiver friendly, so to speak, and make that guy happy. You've got to make it work.
But wait a minute here, guys. If they're going to make that work, that means spreading the offense out. That means going away from what has won for them. Why in the world? Follow me here, though, Mark. They're 11-6 this year, okay?
Yes.
That's their floor the last 3 years. That's their floor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Here's
Why
the problem.
in the world would I change when I've got 2 Super Bowl appearances in 4 years? Why would I go away from that style? Why? Because I want more balls to my wideout?
I'm not saying going away from it, but you're going to need to air it out more because Saquon is not going to be the same guy he was last year. You can't. No, he's rushed over 750 times in the last 2 seasons. He can't be
755.
Yeah, you can't be a workhorse and think he's going to get another 350 carries next year and that he's going to be able to produce the same way. I.e., you need to rely on the receivers a little bit more to open this thing up so that way you're using the pass to help set up the run even more to give him more lanes to rush.
Philly.
The problem is,
go ahead. Respond. Go ahead. Respond.
No. I was just saying, I think a lot of the problem is, like I said, they've taken it to such an extreme with the conservative play that I also think teams have adjusted to a lot of things that they've done, and they did not adjust. They just doubled down. And I think when you look at also trying to keep your players happy, like A.J. Brown, I think you just have to go away from it to a certain extent. I'm not saying you can't play it safe and at times, but you've got to open it up a little bit. You just do.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
But what you're really not talking about is it's not AJ and it's not Saquon. The real problem is the offensive line was broke down all year. That's where your problems really started because that's what we deal with Dak Prescott and things. If the quarterback don't have time and the lanes aren't there like they are, you're not going to go but so far. It doesn't matter what you call. You got to have the players on the field that can play.
Well, then why would I have an overreaction, Philly? If we're going to go like this and say, well, health can fix this more than a coordinator can fix this. Because I'll make this statement to you guys. If Kellen Moore had this offense, he'd have been fired too. With the offensive. Now, he would have more in-game situational play calling ability than what Kevin Patullo did. That's a given. I get that. But still, if you have a running back that is a 1,000-yard rusher, the quarterback in the passing game is where it is, you weren't going to throw yourself out of trouble. Kellen Moore wasn't going to fix this. What really covered a lot last year, do you not agree, Philly, was the iconic running game that you had.
Yeah, well, right. The running game masked a lot of it. It did. But, when that running game doesn't work, we're going to go back to the situation where as soon as it doesn't work, you're stuck. Look how many games this year.
That's what happened this year.
Right. But look how many games this year also, Sills, they come out and they get a big lead. Like 24-6 versus Tampa, 21-0 versus Dallas. They're up on a bunch of teams, and then they blow the lead, and they can't even complete a pass in the second half. To me, that's because your coaches can't adjust to what the other coaches have adjusted to in-game. So you need somebody for that.
Mark, I'm going to ask you this before I ask Philly this, because you saw the declining of running back with Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, when you're seeing with Barkley here, you had a pretty good offensive line, but every year after he got paid and came back from Cancun, you saw yards per carry going down and down and down and down. Last year he was 5'8". This year he's 4'1". I'm going to assume that an older guy, and maybe if the line comes back and they're healthy, maybe it improves. I don't know, because that's really $1,000 question for next year, whether they come back healthy at center and left guard with Landon Dickerson. Are you seeing any of the same similarities of what you saw with Ezekiel Elliott with Barkley?
Oh, I don't even have to put it with Zeke. Here's where you can actually go through, and we're talking about Hall of Fame running backs. That 2,000-yard mark is like a curse. After they hit that 2,000 mark, it's like hitting the brick wall. Nobody is ever the same, the next year. I think the best any running back did was Barry Sanders, who 2,000 yards, and then he was 1,400 next year. And then Adrian Peterson, I think, after he came back from the knee, he had over 2,000 yards, almost had the record, and I think he had 1,200. But you've seen pretty much all of them just kind of just go downhill.
The only guy I haven't seen die off a 2,000-yard year has been Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's it. But he's still not quite well. Last year was incredible. This year, not quite as much.
He had 1,600 yards, Mark.
Yeah, but it's still not the 2,000.
I mean, I get it. Do you think Philly? Do you think that do you think Barkley's finished?
No, I don't think that at all. I'm not saying he's going to get 2,000 yards again.
How many years do you think he's got left being the prominent number one running
back? I think another good 2 around a healthy line. And the only reason I say it is because when you saw Elliott fall off, there was something. He just looked slow, no burst. I don't see that from Barkley. What I see from Barkley is 3 straight times where he touches the ball. As soon as he touches it, 2 guys are in the backfield. And here's the other thing: Barkley played better down the stretch. Believe it or not, he actually played better down the stretch. These last 4 or 5 games, he had a bunch of a couple 100-yard games. He had a 100-yard game in that playoff game. So I don't think it's Barkley yet. I think it's more offensive line.
Mark, what's the number one priority in the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys?
There's so many priorities here. First, we got to get a legitimate defensive coordinator, and then I think you've got to get George Pickens signed. You don't do those 2 things, it doesn't matter what else you do.
But aren't your problems more on D?
Our problems are more on D, but right now, your offense is helping your defense.
Your offense is what's keeping you afloat in ball games.
You can't. Right? Now, I get it. In 23, Dak Prescott had many yards and more touchdown passes without a George Pickens. But I'd rather have that guy there than not have him there. But our defense, we got nowhere to go but up, and they've got a lot of work they got to do on it. If they can get George Pickens signed, pretty much you can say my offense is on cruise control. Then I can take all my resources, my 2 number 1 picks, and put those on the defense and try and build that up.
Philly, let me go here with you on this here with the Eagles offseason here. Let's say that, and I do think you're going to be poached or potentially 2 guys, maybe even Bobby King at linebacker. Also, because look at the job that guy's done with your linebacking core. So you're healthier offensive line, right? You could potentially lose a key stud defensive back guy, or 2 with Clint Hurt could be a coordinator. Clint Hurt and John Harbaugh are very good friends. That could be the next defensive coordinator in New York. Okay.
Okay.
Plus you have who you signing with Jalen Phillips. By the way, are you punting on Jalen Carter and picking up the 5th-year option and punting on that and giving yourself a chance to find Phillips? And what are you doing with N'Kobe? Are you signing him? You letting him walk? Are you letting Reed walk? A lot of decisions to be made in the offseason here for Howie, no?
Yeah, a ton. To me, I'm signing Jalen Carter. I'm signing Jordan Davis. I'm picking up Nolan Smith's contract. I'm not signing him to an extension. And if Jalen Phillips is anything $30 million or over, I'm letting him walk. And I'll figure that out. If I can get N'Kobe Dean back, I would like to see them do that, but I don't know how easy that's going to be. And then as far as Clint Hurt, Christian Parker, my goal is to keep at least one of those guys by promising them a defensive coordinator job when Vic retires.
Don't you agree, though, Okay? If you don't sign Jalen Carter, all the bullshit you did in the offseason with setting up for 26 for Carter and for some of these other guys, and they punt and they go to the fifth-year option, and you let Sweat and you let Milton. Milton's killing it. Sweat had a great year. You let those guys walk, and you only pick the fifth-year option up, then what the hell were you dumping players for?
Yeah, I agree.
Is that why you're
agree.
saying? Is that why you're saying?
It's part of it. It's part of it, but because also I believe that if Jalen Carter goes out and plays great next year, it's going to cost me way more money than it would now. And I think Jordan Davis has played himself into a contract extension. I just don't think you can let him go. And to me, you got to build your defensive line around the two interior guys, and they got to be here long term. Hopefully, Jalen Hunt could develop. And I think the guy who may be the odd man out is Nolan Smith. Where's he been all year?
Absolutely. Mark, a couple last ones here for you. How are Cowboy fans feeling about the Eagles getting knocked out of the playoffs?
You know what? I don't want to say that it feels as good as us actually winning in the playoffs, but at least it's definitely a boost for us. And not only that, to see Green Bay lose and see Trayvon Diggs playing one play and getting trucked, it was kind of like, hey, this is a good weekend. Our draft pick locked in at 20. Green Bay loses. Eagles lose. Oh, and Aaron Rodgers loses last night. It's like, this is like Christmas right now.
Philly, how do you feel about the glee of Cowboy fans and your demise this year?
It's like flashbacks to when I was growing up, losing the Fog Bowl, losing all these games, and just all I had left was the hope that Dallas would lose. You know, I'm just so glad I don't have to live like a Cowboy fan. I really, I couldn't be happier.
So wait a minute. For you right now, this is more misery for you than actually the excitement of winning the Super Bowl. Is like, hey, look, winning is great, but losing is misery, isn't it? And because Cowboy fans come off the top rope on you, right?
Yeah, because I mean they're used to it. You could see it in with their team. I'm sorry, but I've watched that Hard Knocks for 6 weeks. I've never seen a happier bunch of losers in that Dallas locker room. No, I'm serious. I'm being out. They're happy, smiling. You watch the Eagle players in that locker room yesterday. They were miserable. They all looked like they're going to cry. I want my team to want to win more than me, and I want them to care more than me.
Look at you smiling, Mark. I mean,
look here. That's what I'm saying.
Right here.
You see what I'm saying? He's more happy that we lost than his team wins.
He's
willing to tell you that smoke and mirrors on a good defense in Dallas, just so he doesn't have to blame his boy, Dak Prescott.
I tell you what, the funniest thing is you guys are madder at Cowboy fans than 49ers.
I'm not mad at all.
No, well, okay, maybe you're not. But most Eagle fans are cussing us out. They're not saying anything about San Francisco. The guys that knocked you out.
Because they kicked our ass, let's be honest. They just came in and kicked our ass. What can I say?
Hey, Mark, how about this? I don't think anybody thought that team on Sunday was more talented than the Cowboys.
No.
That beat Philly. That's the disappointing thing. What'd you make of that A.J. Brown lack of effort?
Didn't the Cowboys actually beat them last time they played? Or was that a figment of my imagination?
Yeah. Hey. Oh, you mean us? Yeah. You beat us.
Okay.
We blew another case of –
It might have been a delusional thought that I had that the Cowboys actually beat the Eagles one time.
I know. I know you Cowboy fans – I know you Cowboy fans love to make the regular season as big as like playoffs. But they're just not.
Yeah, this is painful for Philly right now. I can tell in his face.
Hey, look, I care. I care.
I got it. Hey,
you don't care. You're happy. You're
wait a minute. No. I love the fan base, man. I don't care either way about the team. I love the fan base.
Not you. Him. He's barbecuing and he don't care. He's been out of it for weeks.
What about this? Hey, Philly, what about this one here? What did you make of that fiasco on the sidelines with Nick and AJ going at it back on the sidelines there?
Part of me was like, good, Nick, tell him at the time, because I'm like, you can't be dropping that ball with all the crying that you did,
Effort.
you're dropping. But then I find out it's because he wants him to get off the field for 4th down. And it's like, oh, come on, Nick, but look, maybe you can't do that with AJ. Maybe that gets in his head.
Right.
I don't know.
Because he had 4 drops after. He had 4 drops after.
I thought it was the worst game he's ever played that I've seen. So, yeah, it wasn't a good look. But, I know people want to run AJ out of town. I have no interest in moving AJ Brown.
No way.
I'm keeping him.
No way. That don't make you better. All right. Mark, final comments on what you saw this past weekend and watching the Eagles go down in flames. Go.
I feel like the Eagles have peaked and they're kind of coming back down to earth.
Oh, so you think they're going the other way now?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I do. Here's the thing, that offensive line, man, you have to wonder, is Lane Johnson coming back?
I don't know.
And is he going to be the same that he used to be? That offensive line definitely took a step back. That Saquon Barkley took a step back.
So the Super Bowl window's closed, in your opinion?
I didn't say it was closed, but there's definitely, there's chance, depending on what the Cowboys do. If they go and dick around like they used to,
depending on who does,
no, we ain't got a chance. But if they actually go out and make some legitimate moves, yeah, we got a chance.
Depending upon, listen, if our window's closing, yours is slammed shut.
How's it slammed shut?
Because you got an old quarterback who can't win a playoff game to save his life.
Lord.
And then you got a bad defense. You want to say our window's closing?
And get a defense that can carry a sorry-ass quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Right, because when you've had top 10 defenses, those weren't real defenses. They were smoke and mirrors. Come on, man. You can't have it two ways. Mark is a broken record. Every year, the Eagles' window has closed. I've heard it so many times. The truth of the matter is this. We're there. We got to get the right coordinator. We got to make the right moves this offseason. Howie needs to be very aggressive. When Howie's aggressive, the team always has good years that following year. And we'll be right back in the thick of things. I have no doubt.
Then go get Doug Peterson as your new OC. That's
they
aggressive.
Won't do that.
But
I'm not opposed to it.
Be aggressive.
I agree. But you think that they're going to go out and get Doug Peterson, the former head coach of the team that won the
Doug said on my show he'd do it.
Okay, didn't do it. I have no problem with it. I'm open to anything that makes this team better, but anything that makes Nick Sirianni not have control of the offense. And I'm game.
I would love that, because you know what that would be if you brought back Doug Peterson?
It would be crazy.
It would be crazy, because every time there's a hiccup on the team, it would be fire your coach and elevate him. Oh man!
But if Doug, if Doug comes in and Hurts goes for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns and they win 13, 14 games, bye, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That controversy right
there.
Hey, by the way, that might make a lot of Philly fans really excited if that ended up happening.
Well, I don't know if, that'd be like Nick. Nick would be looking over his shoulder the whole entire year. I don't think that would work out. I don't think
exactly.
Then you don't want to do what's best for the team.
I'm just saying I don't think it could work out. I don't think it could work out.
Philly, are you surprised? Are you surprised it ended like this? Because I'm still surprised.
Very surprised.
You know what? Yeah. Sunday night, Mark, you know what I did? I didn't get to sleep after we did the post game because I'm like, I kept saying this. I can't believe they fucking lost.
You guys were pissed.
I can't believe they lost. You know what, Philly? If you had lost to Seattle, I would have went, you lose, you're not going to win them all. But when you lose to something like that, Mark.
Especially after losing Kittle.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you that it didn't matter who you were playing. They were so stuck in the offense and what they're doing that it killed them. It was the biggest problem. It doesn't matter who you're playing, and that's what it felt like. They coach like. Feels like they go up and they go, we don't care who the defense is or what they do or who the best player is. This is what we're going to do on offense. And that's it.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, playoffs here, and it should be a great
weekend.
Bro,
good games.
you see the numbers? 41 million people watched that 49er and Eagle game.
Wow.
41 million people. 31 on Prime. Ultimate numbers on Prime for that Chicago Green Bay game.
That was a great game. I mean, you know, I'm an Eagle fan, but I will watch every playoff game because I'm a football fan. So
guys,
it's going to be interesting.
I want to show you one thing about coaching. If I told you there's a quarterback in the playoffs that had a 58% completion percentage, who would you think it was?
C.J. Stroud.
Who would you think, Philly?
58%?
58%.
I'm going to say Purdy.
How about Caleb Williams?
Ah.
Wow.
You want to know? Hey, you want to know?
Give me that, coach.
That's 58%, almost a 50% completion percentage, and you won 13 games with that dude.
Yeah.
That's coaching, isn't it? Isn't that knowing what to do with that's the guy you need, Philly. Is you mentioned Ben Johnson with Jalen Hurts? That's the guy.
I know that he would be great. That's what they need. Yeah.
That's the kind of guy. Guys, you've been spectacular.
Thank you.
We're going to catch up again. Hey, Mark, let me see that smile, man. Philly. Man, this guy takes so much. He takes so much pride in you getting and you being in pain, man. He does.
I know.
Don't act like he hasn't enjoyed me hurting every week.
Oh no, he's come off the top rope all year on.
But I come off of the top of rope from a winning standpoint. I'm already on top of the mountain. Hey, he's at the bottom of the mountain, reaching up, trying to pull us all down.
Yeah, but he'll tell you I come off the Dallas Cowboy mountain.
30 years ago, we're going to do that.
Guys, I appreciate each and every single one of you. I love both of you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. All right. We'll catch up again. Make sure you check out Mark Holmes and make sure you check out my friend Philly 500. Guys are great, man. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. Let me pay some bills here. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It is because they defend families like yours. Coast to coast with thousands of attorneys. If you're ever injured on the job, friends, do me a favor. Please go to Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. It's FORthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face. Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Show's National Football Show. Please do me a favor. Please hit that like button. I'm going to tell you one more time here on the apology for Caleb Williams. You want to watch great coaching? Watch this weekend when the Rams play Chicago. The job that guy has done with Caleb Williams has been remarkable. Elevated his talent. And get this, he's not even an accurate quarterback. But you would think he is, isn't he? Just by watching him and how he conducts that offense. That's not Jared Goff's offense. That's the kind of guy you need in Philly. That a guy's going to come in. But here's the difference. Okay? Ben Johnson had autonomy in Detroit. He walked in and said, okay, Jared Goff can't jump over a stack of quarters. So let me get Ahmad St. Brown. Let me get Williams. Let me get all these guys. Let's get a running game going. Great offensive line. All of that. He saw the components that he had and was given autonomy to be able to set and bring his own coaches in. He brought his own coaches in who had his vision. Let me ask you this. So if the Eagles are going to hire a coordinator and they bring him in under the same scenario that every other coordinator's been hired, you don't get to bring your own people. How can you sell your vision of what you want to install as an offensive coordinator when nobody has bought your vision before? How do you know Jeff Stoutland wasn't the problem in Philadelphia this year? You're under the assumption that Stoutland is also not accountable here for this. How do you know Stoutland and Kevin Patullo were never on the same page? What was one of the most important things that Mark Trestman or any coordinator that's ever come in here and told you? I got to get with the run guy. And we got to figure out, first and foremost, the run game. Okay? How can you sell a vision on your offense if you don't bring your own people in? You're selling Nick's vision. So if you bring Mike McDaniel in, and Mike McDaniel can't bring any of the people that he's had, how are you selling a vision of your offense? How are you doing that when nobody in the building has ever bought it? That's why the Eagles don't like to go out of the building. Because when you bring a guy in and you interview a Brian Dable or you interview a Mike McDaniel, you gotta coach around the pieces that are there. And I mean in the coaching staff too. And I mean, you got to coach around Nick. Nick's the guy in the way. It's not Jalen. It's Nick. He's the guy in the way because Nick's going to tell the coordinator this. He's going to sit in there and he's going to go, this is what we do. He's not going to start the interview off going, what do you want to do? This is what we do. How do you feel? Let me ask you this. Do you believe that a coordinator that is going to be hired by the Philadelphia Eagles will have autonomy in 26? Yes or no? Do you believe that? That he will have autonomy to do what he wants, to sell his vision of an offense and what he wants and what he sees that offense's capabilities are. If you're an offensive coordinator and you look at A.J. Brown and you see Saquon Barkley and you see all the components that you have, how are you not drooling over that? No offensive coordinator has that kind of personnel. Well, then why isn't that personnel the last 2 years excelling? Would we not agree? Who has been the most formidable player in the last 2 years in that offense? It's been Barkley. Barkley's rushed for 3,000 yards in the last 2 years. The wide receivers getting 1,000 yards, it masked the fact that the unit was not that great. So wait, everyone got their numbers, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards. And the team failed. Okay? I'm trying to figure out where you're going. That's why I ask. Okay, well, wait a minute. Prince, you had two 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard back. I pointed out that there wasn't one. Hey, let me see something about Justin Herbert for a second, guys. I'm going to show you something about Justin Herbert and his football team, his Chargers. And then you tell me, okay? So Justin Herbert, let's see here. 2000, there we go. All right. So the Chargers didn't have a 1,000-yard back, and the Chargers didn't have a 1,000-yard wide receiver. And they beat you. No 1,000-yard. You had a 1,000-yard back, 2,000-yard receivers. What happened? You guys had numbers. Why weren't you good? Why wasn't the offense good, Prince? Play calling? Okay, you also said you need a 60 yards. Correct. That's my point. It's not that impressive what the Eagles did offensively this year. It's not impressive. Wait a minute, Brent. Wait a minute, Yale. What collapse? There wasn't a collapse. You did this all year. You did this all year. Either shutting down the offense, play calling wise, not knowing in-game situational play calling, all of that. Bad coaching. Okay. Lurie probably said, stay away from the new OC again. Well, wait. Why in the world? Hey, okay, well, let's go here. All right. 14-3, 11-6. It's 25-9, right? Then you went 14-3 again. And you're 40-12. Then you went this year 11-6. And in the last 4 years, you're 51-18. What are you going to do again? In the last 4 years, you're 51-18. And you're going to do what? Help me out. You're 51-18. And what are you in the postseason? You were 2-1, 1-1, 3-0, and 0-1. You're 6-3. You're going to do what? So in theory, you're 57. You're 57-21 in 4 years. What are you doing? Look, this is about the macro and how you're seeing it, not just right now the emotional part of 3 games removed from a bad game. Eagles aren't going to go like this. Let's blow the whole thing up. That's not what's happening here. You've won 57 ball games in 4 years. Where do you think you're going here? New coordinator comes in and does what? Hey, let's change everything we're doing, get away from the winning formula, and what? Sills, you're giving zero answers for this mess for 4 freaking hours. No. You must not have heard me. I think the best thing that can happen to you going forward is health, not coordinators. It's your health. You got a better chance of getting healthier than getting better on offense. Getting healthier gets you better on offense. As Zander said, what do you think you're going to do? Improve what? Sign what? You're stuck with these contracts in the O-line. You just extended Barkley. A.J. Brown's got an anchor around his neck in a contract. You signed Devontae to a team-friendly deal, and you got Hurts with a no trade. What do you think you're doing? Stop pretending. You think you're going to do some magic trick here? I mean, the passing game can be improved? No, it can't, because the quarterback is involved in that. How can the passing game be improved? Dude, you're under the assumption. Hey, let me ask you this. You think that Jalen Hurts can run a Kyle Shanahan offense like Brock Purdy can? Where he could sit back in the pocket. Brock Purdy don't use his legs. He commands the game from the pocket. He'll occasionally run, but he's not really a dual threat guy. We all know that. He's a thin guy. He's not a very big guy. You're under the assumption that Jalen Hurts can run some high, he can run like the Sean McVay offense. Can't run that offense. Seals, do you think it's possible to solve all these problems in one season? Okay, what's a better chance of you solving all these problems? Health or doing something like knee jerk? I think it's health. Only way to win is run first. Well, that's health, isn't it? That's not changing anything. Dude, the run coordinator's Jeff Stoutland. Hey, did you ever think of maybe looking at him? The run coordinator's Jeff Stoutland. And don't tell me, it's Jeff Stoutland. He's the best coach we have. Hey, John Harbaugh, he just got fired. It's one of the best coaches in NFL history. I mean, hey, whatever. This is a results business. The roster does not suck. And you overpaid everyone else. Howie, no. Dude, you think Chicago has a better roster than what the Eagles do? I don't. Where? Or how about this one? Maybe they overachieved in Chicago and you underachieved. I'll say that. I heard Zander say something interesting. He had a little debate with John. John didn't want to bite on it. Zander goes, 49ers were a better team. John goes, 49ers are not a better team. Yeah, they are a better team. You know why? Because the coach made him a better team. Is it a better talent? Hell no. Those are two different conversations. The Eagles underachieved. The 49ers overachieved because of great coaching. They turned C students into A students that day, a couple days ago. San Francisco was better than you. Why? They took lesser players. And as I said, they turned C students into A students that day. You took A students in Philly this year offensively and turned them into C students. I don't know any other way you look at it. I mean, you see it any other way? Look at how coaching elevated playing on Sunday. No. Nope. Why is that? Where am I going? The guy I just said is 57-18. 6-3 in the last 4 years in the playoffs. Fire that? Well, I mean, then it looks like panic. Then you really don't believe in the coaching. You believe in the front office. The front office fired Kevin Patullo because they had to. Not because they wanted to. Hey, do you agree? Do you guys agree with this? The Philadelphia Eagle management didn't want to fire Kevin Patullo, but they had to. They had to fire him. They didn't want to. Look at a press release. He's a great coach. I've never seen a press release going, he's a great coach, and whatever he does, he is going to excel. I've never seen a pat on the back on the way out the door more in a firing than that in my entire life. Look at that. I mean, read that press release. Does that come off really like a firing? I mean, did that come off like when you're reading that thing, did you come off going like, is he fired? Right? Was the guy fired? Or were they throwing him a victory party in how they handled him? Here, let me. Does this sound like a firing? Head coach Nick Sirianni. I decided to make a change at offensive coordinator. I met with Kevin today to discuss the difficult decision, as he is a great coach who has my utmost respect. He's a great coach, and I love the guy. He's been an integral part to this team's success over the last 5 years. Okay? Jeez, a lot of flowers here. Not only on the field and the product there, but behind the scenes. As a valued leader for our players and organization, mostly for him. I have no doubt he will continue to have great success in his coaching career. Is that a firing? Looks to me like he's patting people on the back and regretting to fire the guy. That's not a firing. I read the John Harbaugh fire. Hey, read the John Harbaugh firing by the owner of the Ravens and then put that next to that. They kicked John Harbaugh's ass out of Baltimore. And John Harbaugh won 180 games. The guy wasn't throwing flowers at the guy. Time for a change, he said. Let's go. Looking at this, Sills, who do you think should be the best available fit? Frank Wright? I'm thinking they want someone who won't just be another one-year guy. That makes sense, but I would also say this. Who works best with Nick? That's the number one priority. Who's going to work best with Nick? Not what's best for the team. Who works best with Nick? This is Nick's record. He's 58-19, 57-19 in 4 years, and 6-3 in the playoffs. I really don't understand Eagle fans thinking that there's some dramatic changes coming. That is so not happening. I mean, hey, you make dramatic changes when you're 17-57. Not 57-17. It's a problem if Jalen doesn't want to do things that a quarterback you hate. But it's really is what you got to do what's best. Listen here, man. That's not how that's going to roll. That record is in spite of him. You could look at it that way because of the talent. Hey, Nick plays that way because you have so much talent. Let me ask you this. Ben Johnson's got to do special things. Hey, you see that trick play that Kyle Shanahan ran on you guys with Jennings, and he threw that pass for the touchdown? They had to do things like that to win games. You guys don't run trick plays. You don't have to. Why? Because you're so marvelously gifted everywhere. You don't run trick plays. You're not running those have-ass bullshit plays. You're beating people at the point of attack. You don't have to be creative. You're just better. Those teams have to be creative because they're not better. They're just better coached. You don't have to do shit like that. If I've got the better football team, like going to war, if I have the better artillery, the better army, I'm just going to run you over with my tanks. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm not going to outflank you and try to be Napoleon in a battle. I'm just going to run your ass over. But when you have, like the Art of War says, you have a superior opponent, what do? Pull back and assess. And attack weakness. There's a way to beat teams. And the smart coaches, the Eagles run people over. This year they couldn't. And that's why you end up being home and you're on the couch with the Cowboys. It's exactly that. Yeah, look at that letter there. I mean, look at the Baltimore. Let me read the Baltimore one to you now. And the firing of John Harbaugh compared to that. I love Biscotti going around, the owner of the Ravens going around and whatever. And going around justifying the firing. Dude, you made the firing. Either you liked it or you didn't like it. And they're going around trying to justify the firing. Okay? They've got the owner sitting out there. The owner's out front. He's got to justify because John Harbaugh is the hottest guy out there now when it comes to head coaches. He knows that. He's made him a $20 million a year head coach. John Harbaugh is going to get incredible. Look at that, too. I mean, there's massive PR going on in Baltimore. Following a comprehensive evaluation of the season and overall direction of our organization, I decided to make a change at head coach. Today, I informed John that he's been relieved of his duties. You read that one by Nick Sirianni telling you how great a coach that Kevin Patullo is and how he's instrumental in the last 5 years. This guy just said you're relieved of duties. Called him on the cell phone, says you're out. That's a guy who's been there 18 years, 180 wins, Super Bowl champion coach. He just said, get out. The thing you gave was a glazed donut. You don't want to fire that guy. He's the excuse for the bad season. Hurts is holding you back. Even I got to defend this. Hurts is holding you back to a 57-19 record in 4 years. Whew. Hold me back. Hold me back. 2 Super Bowls, 57-19, 6-3 in the playoffs. You had a down year at 11-6. Hurts is holding you back. Whew. Man, even I'm defending Jalen on that one. Holding you back? What do you mean holding you back? Hold me back more. I mean, hold me back to a record where I've won all those games in 4 years? I don't know. That's surely a lot of winning to hold me back. Okay? I'm not dying on the hill. Sills, okay, you don't fire Nick. But you're always said that we won all those games because of the talent on the team, not because of Nick. Correct. So why can't we move on from him? Because he's the quintessential type of head coach that they want in the front office. He's the orchestra leader that the organization loves that Doug Peterson could never be. Nick came down and said this, the quarterback is this. He profiled him. I read you Jalen's profile coming out of college. Nick's not deviated off that. Nick read that pre-draft report on Hurts, and I read it to you. Nothing's changed. What did he do? Nick Sirianni's completely changed. We're going to rely on the talent on the team. That's how we're going to win ball games. Is the great talent. Why do you think he keeps kissing Howie's ass every press conference he can? Why? Because it's true. You got one of the top 10 to 5 rosters in the league. You've got one of the worst coaching staffs. And here's the one thing. Nick's right. Zander's right. John's right. In this aspect. Isn't that good coaching? It is. I'm going to take all the fundamental things that I was taught by Frank Reich and everything on how you spread the ball out and how you have a passing game. And I'm going to look at the quarterback, and this is how we're going to win games. We're not going to do anything crazy. Quarterback, I've never heard a game plan where it's risk averse. It's code for Jalen, don't turn the ball over. We'll win. Our talent is better than you. Okay? But when the talent ain't better, like it was in the San Francisco game, that's when the coaching gets exposed. Do you see it? Your coaching was exposed by the Niners. And your talent, we all saw it, wasn't great all year. It was spotty. And the coaches had no answers. That's why you underachieved this year. Hey, when the team is healthy and everybody's healthy and playing great, the coaching gets hidden because you don't have to do too many things. I'm going to line up. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to run the ball right here. And ain't you going to do about it. That's who the Eagles were a year ago. They had to be creative this year. They couldn't do it. Why? This is where the situational play calling came into effect when you had an inexperienced play caller because he had no answers, and the head coach had no answers to it because why? And let's figure this out. One thing can be said also about Vic. Vic had no answers for the defense till you had Jaden Phillips. He didn't have any answers. You were getting murdered on the edges. You were getting no pass rush. Howie parachuted in with Jalen Phillips. Here. Boom. Saved the secondary. Linebackers played better. The entire front seven improved. That's a Howie move. Just like bringing in Barkley. Okay? Still unfortunate we could fire the head coach. No way. For what? 57-19? Even I would do this. No, I got to get better players around him. We got to figure or get healthier. It's funny. You think some OC is going to come in and all of a sudden transform or save you from some bullshit. Like he's some sort of life jacket or life preserver. Your health is going to save you because you can't do shit in free agency on offense. And the shit with getting rid of A.J. Brown, we said it on Monday. We'll do it again. Getting rid of him makes you better? How? With who? What are you going to do? Go get an aging wideout? Bring his ass in? Draft a kid in the draft in the first round where you need help in multiple other places? Come on, dog. And you're going to take a cap hit? If you do all that bullshit prior to June 1? Come on. Act with some common sense. Hey, look, they're hearing the noise, but they ain't dumb. I'm talking the Eagles. They're not stupid people. Shields, do you think that they beat into Jalen's head so many times, don't turn the ball over, don't put the ball in harm's way, and that he's starting to think about those things rather than just playing? Well, Big Mike, let me ask you this. This is how you have blind faith in what you're doing. I could tell you something, draw it up on a board. If you do this, you'll win. But you got to have blind faith. And when you have blind faith, and all of a sudden that blind faith, and you see it on the field, start to take hold, and it's winning, your confidence you gain, and the confidence you get in what you're doing is the fact you're seeing success in the field. The more success you see, the more confidence you get. Jalen's not getting confidence in playing against the Giants or the Raiders. That shit was dumb. Hearing people say you're getting momentum coming out. Those are people who never played. You get momentum and you get success by doing what? Competitive and winning every week winning. 57-19, 6-3 in the postseason. That's what builds confidence. Not playing against the fucking Giants or the Raiders. You get confidence. Nick Saban says this, you get confidence in the process. Nick said this one weekend, and it's one of the greatest sound bites of all time. When I worried about winning ball games, I didn't win the big games. He goes, he was at Michigan State, and he said that. I wanted to win this game. I had to win this game. And all of a sudden, he realized, and he had talked to somebody, I forget who he said. He goes, it's more about our process. When I started worrying about our process and the things we do, you hear Nick talking about it all the time. The process. Are we doing the right things week in and week out? That's when he started winning a ton of ball games. It's not about your opponents on Sunday or Saturday. It's about what you do personally that creates momentum and success for players. Then that blind faith starts to take hold. That's where Jalen is. Jalen hasn't any other. You think Jalen's changed his fundamental thought process because of what happened on Sunday? No way. He's had too many games of success. The new offensive coordinator is going to have to conform to Nick and Jalen. Ask yourself this. If you hire Mike McDaniel, what success has he ever had? What success has he had compared to those two? He's going to come in and do what? Change what? You mean he's going to suggest? He's not going to come in and go, well, here, let me do this. No. That leads to turnovers. That leads to fit. Hey, I'll give you a guy that was also like Nick Sirianni in a way. His name is Jimmy Johnson. I don't care about the spectacular play. I care about the dumb play that was beat into our heads every single day that I was around that guy. Don't make the dumb play. Spectacular plays, you're here because you're a great player. Don't make the dumb play. That's why that guy won so much. And that's why that guy won at every single level, college and pro, is because don't make the dumb play. We were always the least penalized teams. Big ball swing at Sills. Would you take the OC job over the Charger job? Well, here, if I was a gambler, I would take the Eagle job. If I want to coach for years in the league, I'd take the Charger gig. I could do more with Herbert. But if I want to take a big swing and I'm young, I take the Eagle job. If I'm older, I take the Charger job. Because if I'm young and I fail in Philly, I still have a chance to recoup myself in my career. If I'm older and I fail in Philly, like Kellen Moore was at a crossroads. Two jobs he had been previously fired from. Okay? 2 gigs. Two gigs. Kellen Moore got that New Orleans job because he was able to adapt. Will McDaniel have the same thing he had with Tua in Miami? Is he better than Hurts or about the same? They're two different players. They're two different complete players. Tua's not going to go out there and run in the perimeter. This guy's a hit away from being in the retirement home. They're two different players. Tua's a progression reader. That's why he was changed out in Alabama. Dude, when I got Devontae Smith and I got wide receivers like they had in Alabama in that room at the time, all them great players, Jalen Waddle and all them guys, I got to get a passer in there. I can spread the ball around. That's why Jalen was relieved of his duties as a starting quarterback in Alabama. Tua could go all over the field. Tua's a better passer. Tua can read defenses better. Don't mean he's a better player. Tanner McKee's a better reader of defenses than Jalen. That don't make him a better player. Since 22, before Jalen signed his contract, what has he done? 3 good games a year. You know, I'm not going there either. Since he signed the contract, you won a shitload of ball games. Dude, you can't. I'm going to do something that I did last year on February 10th, and I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to revert back to remind you what I said. You can't dismiss the kid's resume. I said it in 2025, February 10th, the day after the Super Bowl, on that Monday. I will never dismiss his resume, and I will never dismiss what the guy has done. Makes him one of the top quarterbacks with those resumes in pro football. You can't dispute it. I won't. You're dumb if you do. Now, if you start talking skill set and shit, which we have all year, that's a different conversation. But to take a shit on his resume, how? Where? How can you? You're talking dumb. He's limited. Okay? So a limited quarterback's won 57 games in 4 years? Shit. Okay? You got to put everything. You can't just tell half the story. You just can't just shit and go, well, you know, I don't want to tell the other part of this. That's what a lot of people like to do. Even me, man. Winning is a team effort. Oh, really? Sue, I've been saying it for 5 years. Welcome aboard. Congratulations. Sills would make a fantastic OC. I'd be more of a DC because if a wide receiver started crying with me, what do you think if one of the linebackers started crying for playing time with Vic? What do you think he'd do? Hey, kid, go sit the hell down. That's what I'd be telling AJ. So I could handle defensive players a tad bit more than I could handle offensive football players. You know what I'm saying? Right? Hey, go sit down, kid. You know? Still as a strength coach, probably more so fitting. Team's 57-18. And you want me to do what? Hire a guy who just got fired in Miami and have him come in and do what? Make the offense better? How about get healthier? I mean, what the hell are you doing here? Even listen, you guys, I mean, I get it. It's emotional. You're disappointed that you got bounced by that shitty San Francisco team. I get it. But I'd take a look at what you've accomplished in the last 4 years. Seals, can we pry Burrow out of Cincy? I think Joe Burrow wants to get the hell out of there. I just want to keep Coop, Q, Davis. Put Carter in there. The rest are available. No, I'm not getting rid of. Dude, Jalen Carter didn't have a great year. Okay? That's why I'm punting. 5th-year option, picking it up. I want the kid here. Tell you what it did. You picked the option up on Jordan Davis. What happened to him this year? Kicked that guy's ass into shape, didn't it? That guy had a great year. Did he not? That guy put the donuts down. And that guy had a great year. Seals, you believe, Mark, that the Eagles peaked already? Nope. How can you tell? You're not healthy. I'd wait until you see what happens in 2026 before I make that comment. Dude, you're not healthy. You were great on defense towards the end of the season. It was a remarkable job of coaching, and you just weren't healthy. I think this has got more to do with health and situational play calling on why you're home. Nothing more, nothing less. Quarterback's limited. Welcome to my world. I've been saying it for 5 years. That's why some of you guys are going like this. Well, the quarterbacks. Well, all of a sudden now you guys are seeing it. Yeah, because everything's not perfect around them. If Andy Reid was still here, he would probably make Jalen a hell of a lot better of a quarterback than Nick has. Yeah, because he's a play-calling head coach. He's going to do what Ben Johnson did. Ben Johnson's the coach for the Eagles with Jalen. You couldn't believe it, could you? You see the faces on Philly 500 and Mark Holmes? When I said, who has a 58% completion percentage? C.J. Stroud. Mentioned somebody else. And I go, Caleb Williams. And you're like, what? Caleb Williams? He's the guy that's got a 50% completion percentage? Right? Dickerson, Cam, and Lane. Those three names are vital to whether you'll be successful in 26. I don't know, see? If those guys come back to all-pro form, back in the NFC title game. And you know what? There's a chance that can happen. There's a better chance of that than a dude rolling in and magically changing the offense around. 58-17. I am just chuckling at the guys who want this crazy change. All right. My great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. They are the number one injury law firm in the entire country with over $26 billion recovered. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. For 25 plus years, they have been the best injury law firm in the entire country. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the night owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Howard Eskin tomorrow will join us. We'll get Howard's thoughts on this thing. And what do we do going forward? Make sure you check out Birds 365 in the morning with our guys. Guys, I appreciate it. Big Joe, Zander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.